Good morning, everybody. Good morning, professionals. I welcome everyone to Ican Online Tutor May 2022, end of the Diet Success Camp. I am Oriyomi Kasali, and I shall be facilitating this session for the end of the Diet Success Camp. Before I proceed, we give the glory to Almighty. We appreciate him and we recognize his presence in our life. We also thank him for the goodness that he has granted us and also the wherewithal to have witnessed today and for even being alive. Isn't God so wonderful? In my life and in your life too as well. I welcome everyone once again. Before I start, I would like to recognize everyone that are here today. You are all welcome to this Success Camp. And I do hope and believe that our interaction here today will be meaningful, educative, and also informative. But before I go, as we all know, that there's nothing so good without God. Is the only one that makes everything possible. May I have your permission to declare the session open with opening prayer? I would love someone that is moved by spirit to please lead us in opening prayer. Can somebody give us opening prayer, please, before we start? Just very brief.
Shall we pray, please?
Thank you so much. Yes, we are. Yes, we can.
Our eternal rock of ages want to thank you for the opportunity to be part of this class today. We say, may your name be glorified in Jesus' name. I want to thank you because it has pleased you to help us to start the classes since the beginning of the diet. We thank you because you have helped us to bring it to a close, and we are hoping that you grant us eternal success all in Jesus' name.
Amen.
At the end of the celebration, your name shall be glorified. In Jesus' mighty name, we are praying.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that wonderful prayer. Yes, it is a success camp, and we have begun with a success prayer. May God accept all the prayer I said. Thank you so much once again for that brilliant opening prayer. Yeah, may I use this present to recognize and appreciate the brain behind Ican Online Tutor. Mr. Ridwan, I just want your presence. Are you there, sir? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Oriyomi.
Thank you so much for that, sir. Thank you so much for that, sir. That is the brain behind Ican Online Tutor. It's everything to me and to everyone, because it's the one that has really conceived the idea and see that instead of people really suffering from this, why can't we just have this? And that is what has led to the emergence of Ican Online Tutor, which has now served as one of the foremost online tuition provider, both home and in diaspora. Before I go, who we are, as we all know, we are Ican Online Tutor, the forerunner tuition providers for professional accounting and finance students. Yeah, we provide tutorial classes to professionals, accounting and finance students. And we do this by using the innovative tools, the technology, which it is being trusted by more than thousands of students with a wealth of testimonies during the past diet, in which we strongly believe that this diet will also witness the great testimony. As we all know, that a building cannot be without its bedrock. Our vision in Ican Online Tutor is to be the leading tuition providers of tutorial to professional accountancy students. And we are on the verge of becoming that through our deployed tools and also our achievements. Likewise, our mission is to continually provide the tutorial to accounting students using the technology and innovative advancements to ensure that students enjoy a seamless tuition and they also achieve their aspiration even at the comfort of their zone. Our modalities includes our video lectures, it includes our audio lectures, it includes live session, and also group chat lectures, which is being deployed through the use of WhatsApp after using our Zoom for both our audio and video lectures. Our tuition have one of the best industry experts that combined both their work experience and professional qualification to inculcate learning into the students. And we are so proud of what we do, and our students really have that loyalty and trust in us, and yours will not be an exception. Our contact details, we can be reached through the phone number or the email address as shown in your screen. Our main phone number is 081 8599 3275. And our email address is contact@icanonlinetutors.com.ng. This is a brief about our Success Tuition Center, Ican Online Tutor. Having said this, I have the privilege to call the brain of all brainers. I don't know if that English exists. To call the brain behind the Ican Online Tutor to give us an opening remark. May I have your permission to call His Excellency, the professor that is like to hide himself from the true picture, Mr. Ridwan, who is the CEO and the admin of Ican Online Tutor. Yes, sir, you have the floor, sir. My Excellency, sir. Your Excellency, sir.
Mr. Avi, thank you so much. But I wasn't sure these praises were only for me.
It's for you, sir.
I almost thought it was a case of mistaken identity.
No, sir.
Anyways, I appreciate you all too, sir. I appreciate you too, sir. You are more of a prof than me. You are closer to being a prof very soon than even myself. Once again, I appreciate you. Hello, everybody, and I welcome you all to this end of the diet sensitization. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Hope you are enjoying your holidays, and I also hope your prep is going on very well. Dear professional colleagues, the last few months have been challenging for many of us, from having to deal with work, home, and of course, preparation for your forthcoming exams. There is no news that had deepened the fear of the forthcoming exams and the change of the exam to an earlier date. This was due to circumstances beyond the control of the Institute. Despite all these challenges and some unknown to our knowledge, you have summoned the courage to take the bull by its horn and take the exams. Fear is perhaps your biggest enemy at this time and the force you need to defeat at the moment. It is a faceless evil that brings no good. So today, take a deep breath and kill the fear in you completely. You stand a better chance of passing the exams without it. I would also like to appreciate my team members. Their dedication and efforts to the cause is beyond comprehension. I couldn't have asked for a better team members. They always come through when needed, and I can't thank them enough. My apology goes to all our students whom we might have not met their expectations. We are always open to constructive feedbacks, and we take all concerns very seriously. We will continue to improve our services, and we will also continue to improve on customer satisfaction. Please forgive us for any setbacks you might have experienced while studying with us. You can be sure that this wasn't deliberate, and we will fix them subsequently. Now sit back and enjoy this educative and thought-provoking section. I wish you all beneficial knowledge, a retentive memory, and success in your forthcoming exams. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you, sir. God bless everyone. Wow, what a wonderful opening remark. We've heard from the horse's mouth, from the horse mouth. God bless you more, sir. More wisdom, more knowledge, more achievements to you and the entire team member of Ican Online Tutor. Thank you so much for that brilliance. Yes, we have all heard from the overall head of Ican Online Tutor. We have to summon our fear and summon our courage. Because of the change in Ican exam, do not mean we should not be facing it. Why should we even fear? Oh my God, is that exam so difficult? Will that change in timetable even affect us? Oh my God, have someone to actually tell us and this with that. And the person that will be doing that is there's no other person than the award winners, the award prize winners of Ican examination. Madam, I don't guess it, actually known as Madam ID, will be telling us the secrets of exam success. Ma, you are welcome. You have the floor, ma. Madam ID.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's program. So very briefly, I'll be talking about secrets examination success, secrets of examination success. Our exams is in a week's time, and usually everyone is concerned. I mean, every Ican student, even those who have written before, there is this tension you have. Oh, exams is here. What am I going to write? How am I going to go about it? So the first thing I would like to say is, first of all, is our mindset. There's a saying that says, no matter how much you prepare, even in business, no matter how much effort and dedication you put into something, if in your mind you still believe you are going to fail, it's not going to succeed, then there's every possibility that it's going to be so. Okay, so I'd like us to adjust our mindset. Yes, you can, it's okay to feel tense and, oh my God, how is it going to be and all of that. But also at the same time, believe that it's an exam that you can pass and that you have all that it takes for you to pass. So also, some persons might be feeling like I'm not prepared for the exams. Actually, nobody's ever prepared for an exams. Okay, like I remember some people will say, the exams is just here. I've not even finished. There's no, you keep studying, even when the exams is 5 minutes. Okay, you still want to glance at something. So even if you feel that you're not prepared, it doesn't mean that you're not prepared. It's normal. It's a normal feeling. So the success tip in examination success is, of course, has to do with studying. And studying has different techniques. In our previous sensitization program, I talked about the studying techniques. So what we'll be doing now is to revise your notes. In our earlier session, I said that it's advisable that as you're reading each chapter, you jot some things down. So what you're going to be doing now is to revise and revise your notes. All right. We watch the videos that we had our classes. We watch them over and over again. Then avoid multitudes of other materials. Now there is this thing that happened when I was writing SFM. I had, of course, the study pack, the Pathfinder, my class note, and my personal reading notes. And then they'll say, this material, somebody went to Kano and came back with this material. Somebody went to here. At the end of the day, I had like 5 to 10 things to read. And exams is just here. At some point, my brain just crashed. I was just asking myself, I was like, oh, I'm not going to pass the exams, I beg, because everything is so strange. Getting new information now is very risky. It will just do battles with the ones you've already assimilated over the month. So you should avoid getting lots of materials. This one came from here, and from here on the same course, and we're trying to digest it. Our brain is just going to, the way engine will just knock. Yes. So yes, now is the time for us to practice with past questions. Like I used to say, with past questions, is good, but how it is applied. If you make use of past questions before you study, it will lead to frustration. So by now, assume that we've read some topics, covered some chapters. So those topics that we've read, will now make use of the past questions. Now, please, essence of past questions is not because I can't repeat it. Please, let's not have that belief that, okay, I can repeat past questions, because most times it's to end in tears. Now, we are the ones who know that I can repeat past questions because we have the pathfinders in our face. But when you are in the exams hall, it is not an advantage. So if we are, I know some people who they'll cram the past questions. This one will come out, this one came out, this one. Like, I'm not talking about topics, I mean questions itself. So their essence of using past questions was not to help them know how to answer examination questions, but because they believe that I will repeat this question. Why am I saying we should avoid that? Is because, yes, I may repeat, they may not repeat. But if you're conscious of them repeating, it could end in tears. It could actually end in tears, because there will be exams that you go in and they did not repeat. In fact, that exam I said I talked about, I did not repeat a single question. Okay. And even if they are going to repeat, how will you know the ones they are going to repeat? So the essence of past questions is to help you have that, okay, this is how I can set their questions. This is how I'm supposed to answer. And then, it helps you to revise what you've known already. So another thing is, do what works for you. For example, some persons can read in the night, but some persons cannot read in the night. Personally, I don't know how to be between the hours of 12 and 3. Okay, so you do what works for you. Some persons prefer to read alone. Like, it works for them. You'll be able to assimilate better than going for, let's say, study group reading. So it's important that you do what you know is going to help you. Now, in trying to remember what you've read, like I just say, for example, you can say, what is the meaning of asset? Asset refers to any owned by an entity. Then after reading it, you now try to, meditate on it, and then try to see how you can write it out. If it's something you can, because there's something that is called being able to bring what is in your head into your pen. Some persons will know what this thing means, but I don't even know how to write it. Like, how do I even go about it? That is why I advise people, as you're preparing for the exams, you just try to write out what you've read. Or if you're not writing, you can actually say it out. Okay, you can say it out. Sometimes I'll ask someone, okay, ask me this question and let me respond. So if I respond and I miss the point, you remind me. Okay, so you can also do that. Now, for study groups, yes, it is. Study groups also has its own advantages, but study groups will be of more advantage if you have also done your personal study. Okay, study group is when
everybody just comes in and then, okay, you tell us what you've read. Let's talk about this topic. You talk about this topic. You talk about this topic, like that and like that. Okay. But if you have not read, everything they are going to say will sound strange. And you end up feeling frustrated. Oh my God, this people have finished covering the park and I haven't done anything. So study groups will aid when you have, also studied, then hearing it from somebody, what someone is saying, the person's perspective, and adding to your own will also help. And then you yourself, as you're also telling others what this topic is all about, how to calculate depreciation, it enables you to also stick better in your memory. And then in this period, for us to achieve exam success, we have to be able to know how to deal with stress. Yes, because right now, everybody will be reading back to back. And of course, it's normal. Like even when you want to sleep, like me, I want to sleep. And something will tell me, oh, you are sleeping. It's like you want to fail. And boom, I'll just stand up. And where's my book? Where's my book? And all of that. But then you can actually break down. Okay, so we also have to be able to manage it. There are some things you will have to drop totally in this period. There are some things that you have to just suspend, look for a way around how you can maybe get someone to handle that aspect for you for the meantime, so you can focus, so you can study and also rest properly. So in the exams hall, there is this tension when you just sit down. Okay, now the moment has arrived. What do I do? First thing is do not panic. Of course, I'm saying do not panic, but everybody will sharp panic anyway. But do not panic. Your heart is going to beat, but that's fine. Do not panic, because why I say people should read this, there's this confidence you have when you have studied. And there's no how, even if you cover the part, there's no how something you read will not come out in the exams. So you just breathe in and breathe out. They give you answer booklets, you fill in, they give you your question paper. Of course, they tell you, don't turn it yet. When it's time to turn, you just calmly scan through first. I remember when I was writing SFM, if I didn't even know I'll pass that exams. If I already zeroed my mind, say if I pass 4 out of 5, I've done well. Because from beginning to the end, I was not asking myself, so what was I reading? Like, what was I reading now? All these topics. But I couldn't even, because of the fear of almighty SFM. So first of all, you just calmly go through the questions, okay? Go through the questions, you are just scanning, all right? Then, like we always advise, you start with the one that you know what to write. And even as you are writing, you know how you drive a car, maybe you're going on a journey, you are driving a car, and then engine fuel finish. You will not just sit down there in your car and say, okay, fuel has finished, what do I, and you keep saying, you won't arrive at your destination. So if as you're writing now, fuel finished, as you don't know what to keep writing that question, you just leave it and say, I'll come back to you later, and go over to something else and another question and attempt. Thank God Ican says attempt. I don't know if they now say answer all questions, but they'll tell you to attempt the question. Okay, so if you just write here, write here, write here, write here. Okay, but if you want, like I had someone told me in the last exam, I told him, so how was the exam? He said, I wrote the exams as an inexperienced student. He had issues with SFM. So what happened? He said, I wasted 2 hours on one question because I wanted to get it right. Because I know that what I was doing was right. But then I discovered that I made a mistake somewhere. He now had to go and rewrite again. I wasted 2 hours. Before I went to the other one, I could not even, So you don't waste time on any question. Once you don't write, fuel, finish. You just leave the car. Park the car there. Flag down another vehicle and keep going towards your destination. Continue your journey. If that one too, fuel finish, you come down, tell the driver, okay, bye-bye. Look for another vehicle, enter and go your way. Even if it means to trek, but you don't just stay at one point because fuel has finished, okay? And if, as I was solving, I remember that you made a mistake somewhere. I remember when I was writing advanced tax, I there's this question on PPT as petroleum profit tax. I said I'm going to, because that was actually the last topic I studied. So, I mean, it was still fresh. I said, I'm going to do this one. I knew that this question would take so much time, as in compared to the others. But because I know the formula, I was teaching somebody. I said, I'm going to do this PPT. You know, I started doing this question. That was the first one. Oh, I did. Along the way, I discovered that something I had done. There was a mistake I made in one step like that. Oh, I just jumped it there and left. By the time I had solved other questions, I had to cancel that PPT because there was no need. I saw other questions I could answer that would not take my time and was simpler. Now, there is a way you can, out of all the 7 questions, you know every, you are conversant with all the topics, okay? None of them is strange. You've read them, you studied them. But please go for the one that, number one, is easier for you to answer and will not take so much time. Because especially if they have the same mark, okay, it won't take so much time, because the reason I will say, how can they ask this simple question? This simple question will not really give me, it will still give you the same mark. But no, we always expect, like, I remember someone was writing exams foundation. She said, I can surprise also. We were expecting those hard questions. They now brought the simple ones. And I could not believe that they were asking this kind of question. So you want to go and answer those technical ones and then leave, but no. Look at the ones that are easier for you. I can actually remember more than 60 to 70% of the requirements of the question. Then you answer them. Okay. Okay, I've talked about rewatching your videos. You have to rewatch. You can play it as audio, especially for the theoretical courses. When you keep hearing it over and over again, it will help. Thank God that we now have online lectures. Then I did not have access to this online classes. So what I used to do is, as I'm reading, I'll record what I'm saying. It was so stressful, but because I know that if we keep, the reason why we can sing the songs, even when we've not studied, because we keep hearing those songs, and before you know it, you start singing the lyrics. Now you haven't taken time to sit down and say, okay, let me practice the lyrics of the song, but no, but because you keep hearing it over and over again, it sinks into your memory. So you have to keep watching the videos. You can play it as audio just to keep hearing what they practice, the questions, practice the assignment that you were given. You know, when you keep doing it over and over again, it's going to really help. Please avoid bombarding yourselves with new materials at this point in time. Please, it will just mess up everything that you've studied over time. Okay, I think my time is up. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
Well, don't finish.
I want to start my destination, so I'm off the engine. It depends. If I have to go and get something else, I'll still I'll still start the car.
You can see the madam was talking about a car that the fuel has finished. But I'm so surprised that you do not have additional fuel to the car that she's driving to. Thank you so much for that wonderful experience, Madam ID. Madam ID is one of the prize winner of Ican, and she passes all her exam at a click. Wow. And she's the lady that now have her own personal accounting firm. And also she teaches everything standard in FR, CR, and other courses. We appreciate you, Madam ID. Why don't you even give her a wonderful clap for that brilliant presentation? Oh my God, I'm not telling that. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Madam ID. I really appreciate you. I don't know if my other professionals are also doing what I'm doing. That is by listening critically to the presentation and also jotting down, because my book is almost full. Oh my God. If I have all this, I know I would have passed Ican since when my mother born me. but I don't know why I didn't meet you to listen to this wealth of knowledge so that I could write my listing. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. Like I said, if you are also following and listening critically like myself, some of what I deduced from Madam ID presentation is that the first and foremost, the secret of exam success is, what did you say? Oh, she started with, it is normal that the time has approached and the fear, everything will keep gripping us. But what? It is normal that we are not prepared, but we should always try to revise our notes. As it said, we should jot things down. What are we jotting down? She's there to explain. Maybe a question will be coming from that, Sha. Likewise, from our presentation, she said we should also avoid multitude of material, where she said we should not use many materials in trying to get one or the other thing. And she also emphasized on the practice of the past question. With this, I'll be calling my next speaker to come and explain this well, because Madam Aide really said we need the past question to see how I can question are being set, how I can set question, and also how to answer them. So I think this one, we need to illustrate it practically. Maybe my next speaker will be doing that for us. Likewise, she also said our mode of assimilation, that people have different mode of assimilation. Some can assimilate individually, while some can really assimilate doing a study group. And she said, some study group can be so deteriorating in such a way that you will feel, how did she put it? I really remember that instead of, if you know that studying in a study group might humiliate you, why don't you do that individually so that you not see yourself as you never study, you never study. I could also remember that do key majority of us thinking that, child, this person has covered the book from pali to pali, why me? I'm just cover 1% of the whole syllabus. But I think a question will be coming on, is it just about covering the syllabus that determines the success of the Ican exam? Likewise, she also advised that we should deal with stress by suspending some activities and focus on those one that matters, which is ultimately the Ican exam, which is already minutes that we are counting. She also said that in the examination or that we should not panic. Child, even me that I'm not even writing the exam, my body is already shaking. Please, how do I deal with that panic? I think you explained that to us, but maybe a question will be coming from my audience on that one as well. And she said, importantly, that you shouldn't get stuck with a question. That is when she uses a practical knowledge of a car. She said, move on, and then later come back to the question, and you should not waste time on a question. That's when she illustrated the colleagues that was given a question, and that one was just canceling. Before you know, he has wasted the precious 2 hours out of how many hours? Maybe 3 hours that they give for the exam, and the person already wasted 2 hours. There's nothing, they can't catch up again. But instead, she has given a nice approach. Don't get stuck. Where you stop, leave that car, go down, take another car. And if that one you want to get stuck, you leave it, you go to another car. I don't know, maybe before I get to Lagos, I will be entering 10 buses. We are coming to that. Likewise, she also said that we should go for the question that we know first. I think in my class that a student was asking me, how can we really maximize the time? Is it that we are going to go for the question we know first, or it is a must we do that compulsory part? At this point, ma'am, before I allow my audience to ask you a question, I would like you to quickly address this. You said we should go for the question we know first. But as we all know that Ican examination, we always have a compulsory question. And as we know, it carries the largest mark of that paper. If that question one is not the one I know first, are you saying that I can start from question 5, ma'am, which is just 50 marks from section C? Could you just please, ma'am, expatiate on that? Because okay. I know my audience, if I should release them, they have a lot to ask on this. But let me first ask on their behalf. How should we go for the question we know first, leaving the important part, which is question 1? Could you please expatiate on that?
Okay, sir. Please, how many marks is question 1 now? I think it's now.
Question 1 now is 30 marks.
Marks. Okay. So 30
That's
marks out
section
of
A.
100, I have 70 marks left. And for me to pass, I need 50 marks. Okay.
Yes.
If I don't know how to answer question 1, so that's the question. I don't know how to
Yes,
answer
ma'am.
question 1. So what shall it profit me to sit down and wish I knew how to answer question 1 when I can answer the one for 15 marks? I think it's 2. I can answer, I think it's 30 marks for compulsory question. Then the rest is how many marks? Is it 15?
The rest. In section B, we have 2020.
20,
In section
okay.
C, we have 15.
15,
That is
okay.
40, 30. The rest is 30. It's 70. While section A is 30 marks.
30. Okay. So what shall it profit me to sit down and wish, imagine, cry, regret that I know how to answer question number 1 when I can answer out of the 2020, I can answer, that's out of 40 marks, I can get 30 marks from there. That's, let me just take a self-learning. And then out of the other one, the 15, that's 30. I can now get, let's say 15, I can get 20 there. So 30 plus 20 gives me 50. Then I will still now go back to my question 1 and still see what and what I can touch. But simply because question 1 is compulsory question does not mean you have to start with question 1 if you don't know what to write at that point in time.
Sorry, ma, let me cut in at this point. Wouldn't Ican examiner penalize me for not answering question 1? Because they said that it's compulsory.
They say it's compulsory.
Yes.
You don't have to choose to answer it. What I mean is this, because we have section B and section C, where you have, you will be given 3 questions to answer 2. So it means that amongst these 3 questions, you can choose any one you have to answer. Then for the other section, I think you also have 3 that you should answer 2. But what this question 1 simply means is that this one is not part of the one that you will choose to answer or not to answer. That simply means that you should not go and answer in section B, where you have 3 questions for 20 marks. You will now go and answer the whole 3 questions. Okay, you have to pick 2 from that section and then pick 2. Now, number 1 simply means that this is the one that everybody is supposed to answer. But what I am stressing is this, is that because there is this sense of frustration you have when the first question you're answering, you don't know the answer. So the other ones that you now know, everything will just fly out. So what I'm trying to say is to maintain your, should I say, sanity, you start with the ones that you know very well. Then of course you will still attempt that question 1. You understand? Because they said everybody should answer that one. You will still attempt. So even if you get 10 marks from there, you know, it's okay. Than for you to waste 20 marks, regretting, feeling bad, and all of that you should, when you don't even know what to write. Meanwhile, you have 15 marks over there that you are really sure of getting. So what I would advise personally is that you go over to start with the questions you know, because there is this feeling, there is this excitement and confidence you have when you finish, when you've solved 1 or 2 questions and they are correct. So when you go proceed with the rest, you will not feel like anyhow, I will just, those other ones I did, I have confidence that I will get some reasonable marks from there. But if you are starting with the one that you don't know, you might even feel like, you know, you'll be nating, your stomach will start paining you, you start feeling feverish, you start sweating, you feel like vomiting, because you want to answer question 1 first. So I would advise that you start with the one that you know what to write those ones. Then of course you will still come back to attempt that question 1.
Oh, thank you so much for that. If I understand you very clearly, you said that the question 1 is not optional. That's why they said it is compulsory. So if I don't do it first, even if I did not touch it, I can still do my other questions from question section B and section C and still skip through Ican. But ma'am, you say from what you said, I got to try it. But how will I know those questions that I know first? Am I going to run through the question first, or I will just start attempting? Can you just shed more light on that?
Okay, when I was speaking earlier, I said that when you get the exams question first, the first thing is you scan through. You scan through the questions. Yes, you read through like you just read the newspaper, you just read through the question. That's when you'll be able to know the one that you have an advantage. So you just scan through. Like I remember when I was writing taxation, I did advanced tax. Question 1, I didn't even understand what they were talking about. But I saw CGT, capital gain tax. I saw double taxation. I saw petroleum profit tax. I saw those other ones that I've been doing regularly. Number 1 was very complicated. They just merged different topics together. So instead of me to just sit down, and I wasted so much time trying to reason out question 1 before I now ran to the other ones. So when I was now done, I now came back to now say, okay, I know that if I add 1 plus 1, I'll have 2. I add 3 plus 2, I'll have 5, like that. So what I'm saying is you just scan through first. When you get the question, you read the instructions first, you go through all the sections, then you now mark the ones that you know how to answer. And that's how you'll be able to identify the ones you can answer.
Thank you so much for that wonderful opinion. In fact, I believe that I've spoken the mind of my audience. But we also like to ask a question under it. Apology. I need to speak the mind of my people, because that is what some of them have been sending me text message. In case you are not seeing it, I'm seeing it alone. When you say that, I have to answer the question that I know first. But what of in section B, for instance? You know, section B have 20 marks. What of a section that now have part A, like it is section B, but have Roman figure 1, Roman figure 2, Roman figure 3, and I only know Roman figure 1. I don't know 2 and 3. Why I know Roman figure 1 and 3, I do not know Roman figure 2. I wouldn't get my full mark. How do I go about that?
Okay, so we have 3 questions in section B. That's 20 marks, and the first question you have A, B, and C.
ABC.
And you know only A.
Yes.
You know only A. Then you have question 2. You know only, let's say you know B and C, you don't know A. You have question 3 like that. What I will look at is the marks apportioned to it, to the ones I know.
Number 1, that is given to each question. Again, people are hearing. Yeah. More questions.
That is why they really put the marks in brackets in the questions, so that you know as you are solving, you are calculating what you know you are getting. So I'll look at the sub questions that I know, provided this A, B, and C are independent questions. That is, B and C does not depend on A. B and C does not depend on A. You know, you have questions where the A is a different question, B, you know, is coming from a different angle, is not as a result of the answer of A. Okay, so I'll look at if they are dependent, like they are independent. Okay, I'll look at the marks attached to each of them. So whichever question I know that I can get something higher, 10 marks and above, 10 to 15 marks, okay, I will go ahead and solve that one. But if out of this question, now the only one I know is going to give me 5 marks, I'll look for another one in that same section that I know that if I answer this question, I will have above average, that's above 50% mark there. So if I know A and I don't know B and C, is that question A, is it 10 marks? Is it 5 marks? If question A is 5 marks, sorry, it's 10 marks, that's 10 out of 20. And then that section, then number B, that's B of the same question. I can just struggle and get 3 marks. Then the last one I can get 2 marks. That's 15 marks. But let it be that at least if you whatever you're answering in that question can give you minimum of half of the mark. So if the one I can see now, the only one I can answer is number C, which is just 2 marks. Maybe they said that I should explain, I should define the word accounting, and it's just 2 marks they gave for the question. So that's 2 over 20. Meanwhile, there is another one that, you know, so you look for the one that in each question, if the questions are independent, look at the marks attached to it. The one that has the highest mark that you know you can answer, then you go for those ones.
Thank you so much for this wonderful experience. I really appreciate it. And I hope that I've spoken the mind of most people. Thank you so much, Ma, for that. In fact, it's really helpful. Part of what you said is that we should rewatch our video lecture as many times as possible and avoid new material at this time. But this avoidance of the new material, what of if it's the one that will contribute to my knowledge? And you said I should avoid it. Wouldn't that affect me if I got to know after the exam that, and this thing come out too?
Okay, new material.
Yes.
Okay. What I meant is this. For example, okay, like I said, I'm not a night class person.
Okay.
There's a time I went for night class, so I said, let me just carry myself and go. And you see, this person, the same topic, will have material from Germany. Another person will have from Japan. Another person will have from US. Another person will have from France. The same topic, you understand? Now, if it's a material on a topic you've not gotten adequate knowledge on, is okay. But what I'm trying to avoid is bombarding yourself with different material, because different materials will have different perspectives on each topic. They will have different ways of solving a topic. So if, for example, now, let's say, like, okay, I remember when I saw an Indian textbook on AFR standards, okay? And the standards were different. Like IS2, I don't think IS2 is inventory. I don't know. But
yes,
their was they had then I think they also have their own country accounting principles. So I ended up getting myself confused because I'm reading so many materials. Okay, and that's why I like people that before you go ahead and look at other textbooks, read your pack first. This will help you to know the syllabus where Ican is covering in that particular topic, because some textbooks are just normal external textbooks that can cover things that Ican is not part of Ican's syllabus. So because you've seen that in that textbook there is CGT, you now go and start reading capital gain tax in that textbook. And this textbook is a foreign textbook that of course contains the tax policies, tax laws, tax rates of that country. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have 2 or 3 materials on the same topic, I believe it is okay, if not too much. So what I'm trying to avoid is also having 10 materials on the same topic with different approaches that will not end up getting you more confused. When it was time, for example, one man came from Kano. He said he went for a revision class. He now brought that plain sheet is like, it's not less than 50 sheets to revise. Exams is next week. And I'm trying to revise, and then that's when I was not asking myself, it's like, I don't want to, it's like I'm not going to pass the exams. So I'm trying to say, there's a difference between relevant materials that will aid understanding, like revision materials. But what I'm trying to avoid is us having to go and get plenty materials from Jamaica, because right now, so many things will be flying. All right. And for the revision, not for us to now go and start digging a different approach on how to, so please, let's just, before you use another textbook or material, I think, in my opinion, you should have covered your pack. So you know what your pack is looking at. Look at the past questions, okay? Because the truth is, there's a way you solve group accounts. Maybe the way you were taught how to solve group accounts, you were given steps. Then you now say this textbook, their own way of solving group accounts is just totally different. So you're wondering why they had to add this one to this one. So it will now, should I say, erase or dilute what you had already known before. That's what I'm trying to avoid, because different textbooks have different approaches, they have different principles, and all of that. That's what I mean.
Thank you so much, Ma. Please, before I eventually release you to go, before I eventually release you, there is also what you said, which I think it is tantamount to the understanding of my audience. there is this notion that people always have when it comes to material that, oh, for SFM, for instance, I don't want to mention a name. For SFM, Oriyomi Kasali is among the examiners, and thereby we'll be using his textbooks. So like last diet, if you check, Oriyomi Kasali really bring a question from page 55 of his textbook, and that's what they use. And me, that I'm already studying, I'm studying with Ican online, I do not know whether you even use that textbook. Is there any correlation between an examiner with his textbook in relation to the Ican question? Can you please just shed light on that?
Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. When I was writing an Ican, there was one man. He said people are now rushing his textbook because someone spotted a question that was used in the exams in his textbook.
Exactly.
Actually, the man had to confess that he went to Ican archives. And you know how people that write textbooks, they will use Ican questions in their textbook. Ican past question in the textbook. So it now seemed like Ican got the question from his textbook, but the man he used Ican question as part of the illustrations and examiner questions in his own textbook. Now, like I always say, okay, let's say for instance, like we said, this person is of the examiner. In fact, he's the one that's question, and he used a question from his textbook. So what assurance do we have that he is going to be the examiner in these exams? Number one. What assurance do you have that his question is also going to be picked? Because every diet, people send different questions, all right? And then Ican will now choose 7. I mean, number out of the 50 questions that will be sent across the whole country. They will now pick 7. So what assurance do you have that this man's question is going to be picked? What assurance do you have that he's also going to be the examiner for that paper? Like I always say, instead of trying to predict question or see which question will come out, that time you're using to search questions that will be repeated, the likely do probability, the ones that will come out, you use that time to study the principles of that topic. Instead of
that topic, that is key.
Because any way they bring the question from, you may not know the answer, but you know what to write. Like you will be able to know how to start. You'll be able to know how to attempt that question, because you know the principles. You know that if a question has to do with depreciation, okay, it is cost minus residual value all over a number of years. Okay, so you will not have to start cramming a particular question on depreciation. All right. So I would advise the time we spend in researching different textbooks to know who and who question came out in which year's exams. Use that time and study, understand the principles of each concept, each topic, so that any way they will bring their question from, you will be able to write something. Instead of going to go and cram the question and answer in a textbook, and then when you enter the exams hall, you receive the shock of your life that this man's textbook was not even remembered. More people removing question 2B from it. So that time you just use it to understand, because everything hinges on the principles. Understand the principles of each topic or each concept first of all. There's no point trying to go and look for where questions will come out. No. Understanding these principles will help you, will boost your confidence. Not cramming this question, looking for where I said many people were just using past. They didn't even read. They'll just carry Pathfinder and say in 1920, I can ask this question. Then in 2012, they brought it back again.
Yes. Oh my God. God bless you for that.
In 1950, Ican will not repeat it. So if all your mind you were doing tumbo, okay, since they repeated the one of 1920, they'll repeat the next one. Since this is 2022, they'll repeat the one of 1950. It might be possible. Right. And some of people think that, I heard they will say, Ican does not have time to set new questions. I don't understand how Ican will not have time to set new questions. So because they don't have time, they'll go and repeat an old question. They don't have time. How? Like how many people are in the examination council of Ican that they will not have time within 3 months to set new questions? You understand? So it does not make sense. I can't people, they are so busy. They won't even have time to set new questions. So they'll just go and copy from the past questions and put. But I tell you, if you don't understand the principles, even when they copied, they bring the past questions that was set in 1920, you will not still know what to write. Because there is this thing, once X is out of your brain, you won't even know that Y follows X. But when you read to understand, even if they bring the question, the question from 1920, you will know what to write. Even if they don't bring the one from 1920, they went to Jamaica to copy a question from Jamaican textbook, you will still know what to write. So please, there's no point looking at textbooks that they brought. There's no point going to look for example, now, Oye Akin Sulere that wrote financial management, that's the one we used to use for SFA. The man is part of the people that, you know, SFA.
Examiners, yes, and the governing council.
Yes, the governing council. But if you check, it's not every time that you won't even see, like they said, they lift directly from the textbook.
It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a while. So you can't take your 50 marks on that probability that because it's examination council. Who knows, maybe the Ican has exhausted all his questions. And most times, like I said, the questions in these textbooks are past questions from Ican. So most times it's not as if Ican copy from their textbook. They use Ican past question in their textbook. And most of this is to make the textbooks sell, because they will say it's Ican adapted, Ican inclined, and all of those.
Exactly. Wonderful, you man.
Your principles. Thank you.
God bless you. On the last note, please, because I overheard when you said, oh, we should read the syllabus to know our area of focus. But there has been this question that colleagues has been asking. Is there any relationship between the lecture note given by Ican tutor and that of the study pack? What I mean is, Ican online tutor, are they really using part of the study pack do we understand, in teaching their students?
Okay.
That's just the last note question that was sent to me. That's what they call by the relationship between Ican online lecture notes and the study pack. Is there any? Do you understand?
Okay,
so
yes,
can you
I
just
do.
please?
Okay. So Ican online makes use of the study pack. As a matter of fact, when we are planning our lesson notes, we first of all look at what is contained in the Ican syllabus and in the Ican study pack. Then we'll get from there. Okay. Like someone will say that in Ican study pack, they will ask white rice. They will give example using white rice. And then in the exams, they will ask you to prepare fried rice with chicken and salad. Meanwhile, they were asking you 1 + 1, but in the exam, they'll ask you 2a - 1 raised to power q square root of this. Now, we make use of our Ican study parts. Okay, we get our lesson notes from there. Then, if you can notice, our examples are in progression, the simple ones, and then we'll now bring technical questions. That is the ones we've gotten from past examinable questions. Okay, we will also bring it in so that you have a feel of how examination questions are. So our lesson notes, okay, we make use of the study packs, and then we ourselves as the lecturers, based on our experiences and observations, will now source for other questions, okay, other areas based on what we know how Ican has always been operating. Then we'll now also include it in our notes to make it richer. But we don't do anything. We don't go beyond what is in the Ican. We don't go outside. I don't know, for me, we don't go outside what is in the Ican.
We don't go outside the scope of Ican study pack. Thank you so much, Madam Ida. I think I've exhausted most of your time, and I've been able to also speak the mind of my audience. And I so much believe that they have also gained one thing or the other. What's the one thing or the other? They've gained several things on the presentation and the question and answer session, which was aired on their behalf. Thank you so much, man. We wish you outstanding wisdom and best of luck in the new establishment. May God continue to improve you and grant you massive success too. Thank you so much, Madam ID. Everybody, that is that about Madam ID. She has really been able to explain the rudiments of the secrets of Ican exam success. In fact, to me, she has even gone beyond, as if that is the only speaker that we have for the day. I purposely have to answer the question that my audience were sending to me so that we can have a kind of eye-opener. Remember, I told us and my head also informed us that the session is going to be an educative and eyes-opener. We believe that that's why we call it a success camp. After this interaction, discussion, we believe everyone will have what to pick, then have nothing to fear again with Ican examination, and also have an effective and efficient planning and writing of the Ican exam. Yeah, the key points, another one of the key points that Madam ID mentioned under the practice pass question is, she said that we need to see how Ican set questions and how to answer them. Mind us, this as we also have a speaker that is going to illustrate that with us practically so that we can see how I can really set questions. Because some people, when they see questions, some people like me, when they see questions, in fact, there is one thing that will first be shaking in me, as if I swallow tolo. The thing will just do. Now, so my hand will be shaking. My leg will be shaking as if I don't kill rats. Is there something to that? This will lead me to the practical guide to answering Ican exam question. And the person that will be doing the justice for us is also a professional with industry expert, a person with wealth of experience, a tutor with many experience as well, and also one of the prize winner of Ican exam. Presently, about to also qualify for ACCA. Permit me to welcome on board Mr. Inyada Abdulwasiu to come and do justice with practical illustration on answering Ican exam question. Madam Inyada, you are welcome. And Mr. Inyada, you are welcome, sir. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Good afternoon,
all right,
everyone.
Sir, you have the floor. Please, sir, I really want your section to be practical. So, sir, I will want you to really look to use a question.
Okay.
To present and let us see how we can answer the exam question. Please, sir, I will need you to share your screen. Please.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. I'll share my screen now.
Please, you can be dropping your question. I will answer them all.
Okay.
Yes, there will be time for question and answer, everybody. There will be time for question and answer.
So,
I hope you can see the screen. Go on.
Yeah. Good day, everyone, once again. And I'll be doing the practical illustration to how you can answer some exam question, cutting across the three level, the foundation, the skills, and the words, and the professional. And thanks to Mrs. ID for the wonderful presentation that I've done so far. And let me start with my own view of what of writing the exam as well, how you need to approach the questions. And first of all, what I would like to say for us is everything that we are doing, as you are preparing for this exam, try as much as possible to understand the terms. That is, in this particular topic now, what are they talking about? Okay. So that should be your word. That should be your driving force. You have a lot to do. So, but what you need to do is understand the terms very well. So once you understand the terms, like look at this question that you're looking at the screen now. This is November 2014. This business management and finance, the BMF. And this is for the foundation student now. If you look at the requirement of this question now, the examiner say what? Identify what? 5 features of what? Of sole proprietorship. That is the question. And the second one, which is the B part as well, say that what identify what 5 characteristics of the word of the public limited liability company. That is what you are required to do now. Identify what 5 features of the word of a sole proprietorship. Then you can see now that everything that the examiner is asking in this A part now is about what? What's the key point here? It's still about what? Sole proprietorship. Then they're asking you something on what area now? On proprietorship. So what you now need to do now is you just need to flash back. Once you know the meaning of what? Once you know the meaning of sole proprietorship, you know the meaning very well. Then even though, let's for example, you didn't read these particular things before, but from your own generic knowledge, you can still able to provide what? You can still able to provide answer to it. Once you really what the meaning of what? Oh, what is sole proprietorship? And we all know that, oh, sole proprietorship is a one-man business. Abi? Every one of us have this generic knowledge. So once you know that, oh, it is a one-man business now, then what are the future? What are the characteristics that, oh, it's one individual that is running a business? What are some of the elements, the future that is going to have? Oh, I am the one now. Oh, I established a company now, Limited. There's no anybody, Mr. Yomant is not there, Mrs. ID is not there. What are the future now? You can see now, if there's a profit, if there's a loss, it belongs to me again. If the business succeeds, what about if the business fails? It's also what? It also belongs to me as well. Who bring up the capital? I am still the one that brings the capital. So you can see your driving force now is what? You understand the term that, oh, when we say sole proprietorship business is a what? It's a one-man business. And since it's one-man business, see yourself in that particular position that, oh, I have a business. What are the future now that, oh, I am the one that have the business and I'm the one that is running the day-to-day affairs of the business? What are the future? What are some of the characteristics that? So once you really understand the word, the terms very well, it will be very, very easy for you to really for you to really understand the word, to really, for you to be able to put something down. And what the examiner is asking you to do now is saying 5 futures. But if you now look at the words, if you look at, I think I opened it in the next page as well, you can see that the examiner is bringing like 10 now in his words, in his solution. Okay, so when you're looking at the pathfinder now, you don't need to be carried away with the words, with the numbers of the solution that the examiner has provided. Here now, the examiner has provided how many now? 10. Okay, but what you need to do now is you need to stick to the requirement of the question. The instruction is very, very clear. Look at the top as well and tell any 4 out of 6. Even though you are a good student, you know about it. Stick to the requirement of the question. Don't say that, oh, the examiner say 5 futures of sole proprietorship and the solution is making mention of of 10. No, you just stick to the requirement of it. Identify 5 futures of sole proprietorship. Once you understand the terms, you can bring up your own word. You can bring up your own terms as well. And to me as well, that's like my driving force as well. I always try to, as much as possible, understand the terms. And I can remember when I was writing Ican as well, which is my professional level, that was advanced audit. And the question was, I can still remember because I didn't read that particular chapter. Because I think that was the last chapter, it was chapter 15. We call it auditor rotation. So in auditor rotation now, we have some argument that, oh, should we rotate the audit fee or we should rotate the partners? But I know the meaning of what do we refer to as auditor rotation? What do we refer to as partner rotation? Oh, if I'm using one particular audit firm now for like 10 years now, is it good for me to continue? Or I should bring in another firm now to continue my audit? You can see now, once you know the meaning of, oh, this is the meaning of auditor rotation now, this is the meaning of partner rotation. Then if they're asking you any question about that, then you should be able to provide answer to it. Then the next one is also saying that identify 5 features of the sole proprietorship. A public limited liability company. Your driving force as well is also understand the terms. What do we refer to as Public Limited Liability Company, PLC. And a lot of us that are at least working, at least you have a lot of competitive edge than maybe a student that is still in school and is writing Ican exam. Because most of the things that we are talking about in Ican, some of them are very visible in our day-to-day. So people that are working now, you have a competitive edge. But if you are not, maybe you are an undergraduate student. When I qualified as well, I was still in school then too. So it doesn't work. But people that are working, you have advantage. Because things that you're talking about here, especially if you're in finance, you're becoming across it. And if you are learning in class and you're also seeing the practical situation of it, it will be really good. If you are working in a listed company now. So if we are talking about corporate governance now, it is not something new to you because it's things that you are seeing in your day-to-day work. What the examiner is also asking for 5 features. You look at the solution as well. The examiner can provide what? The examiner can provide more than what? More than that. The minimum is 50, and the maximum is is infinity. You can buy shares. All your family members can buy shares. So it is in fact, Yoma's family now, we can buy MTN shares now. So the minimum is just 50. The maximum is 50, is infinity. It have a perpetual succession. And that's like the opposite of sole proprietorship now. The existence of the owner, they bring about the existence of the business. So just understand the word, understand the terms, and stick to the word, to the requirement of the word, stick to the requirement of the question. And once you are making use of your Pathfinder as well, another thing that you have to do is for you to really look at the examiner report. When I was writing Ican exam, I have the hard copy. What I usually do is that I will underline the word, I will underline the examiner comment. That was the examiner comment say. Because the examiner comment will talk about 3 key things. What are the pitfalls of the student? So, and if I know that, people in the past, they have made some mistake, and me that I'm coming in as a new student now, then I should be able to learn from that as well. People that are running now, at least you are 4 inside the words. There's no fuel anymore. And I need to know that, what caused the fuel? That, you don't have fuel in your car again. Is it because there's the fuel scarcity or something like that? I have to know the reason. If the performance is good, the examiner will make mention of it, and you can see it as well. The questions were attended and the performance was good, meaning that people really perform better. And for you to be performing better in a theory course, is you have to try as much as possible to understand the terms. That is the challenging part of it. It's not as if it is difficult. You have to understand what do we mean by sole proprietorship? What do we mean by each of the terms? So once you understand the terms, there's no reason you're really stressing yourself, and learn as if you don't want to forget it. Because you can still come across it as you're progressing in your examination. So let me move to and another thing as well, you have to try as much as possible to understand the requirement. Look at this. This is financial accounting. This is financial accounting. This is also November 2014 as well. And this is a question on financial accounting now called partnership. Then you have to go down and ask yourself now, what is the requirement? The requirement says that you are required to prepare a statement of profit or loss for the year ended 31st of December 2013, accounting for Bola on a pro rata time basis. Once you see pro rata time basis now, it means that this is a partnership business. One partner joined the business during the year. This term that in the partnership account, it means that one partner came in during the year, and that's why the examiner is asking us to do what now? The examiner is asking us to prepare it on a pro rata basis. That if it is we look at the opening paragraph now, Garuba and Ugozi has been in business together for several years. So meaning that we have these 2 partners before, all right. Then another person is not joining, so you can now see now on September 13, Bola is joining. And what is our accounting year ended? Our accounting year ended is also December 2013. Okay. So, and Bola, what? Bola came in now in what? In September. That is the reason why the examiner is asking you to prepare it on the what? On a pro rata basis. Meaning that what? From the time that Bola joined up to the what? Up to the accounting year ended. And examiners sometimes too, they repeat questions sometimes. Let me be honest with you. And if you look at this word, but your own should be, you have to understand the terms. Look at this particular question now. This is November 2014. If you also look at the words, this is also the last diet now. Okay? Question 2 as well. Look at the name. Bala and Ade had been in partnership, together in partnership for several years in plastic manufacturing. You can see what's the changes here. This one is what? Newspaper what? Publishing business. Look at the what? The total of the what? Both the debit and the credit side is 353,450. If you look at this place as well, it's also what? It's also the same thing as well. So they do repeat question, but that should not be your driving force. The driving force should be what? Understand the term very well. Because the topic is still the same. Partnership is the same. So if they are still going to bring question, it's still to just look as if they are repeating it, but the topic is still there. It's not as if they remove it. So if the test question on words, if there was a question was set on partnership, now that is not the end. You can come on to the next slide now. They also test you question on partnership. It's not as if they are repeating it, but we are still repeating the topic. If the examiner brings you transfer pricing and your skills level, that is not the end. You can go to the next slide now. There will always be transfer pricing as well. But the reason why you need to make use of the question is that, oh, you're able to know that, oh, it is transfer pricing. So what aspect of what of transfer pricing was what were they testing question? And stick to the requirement that, oh, this is what I'm asked to do. This is the number that what I need to do. And once you stick to it, you understand the terms, it's not something hard. Then let me now go to what. Okay, look at this one, and let me use this as final now for foundation. They say, well, state 5 features of what? Of the following: memorandum of association, articles of association, and public sector entity. They say 5 features, just like characteristics now, just like the word, the content of what, MOF, memorandum of association. So if you don't understand the meaning, memorandum of association, how were you able to talk about the word, the content of memorandum of association? And see, that would be a little bit difficult. And the examiner say what also what 5, meaning that words at least you should tell us like 5 words, 5 features of what memorandum of association, the articles, and the features of public sector entity. So if you don't understand the terms now, how are we able to know that, oh, in the memorandum of association, and these are some of the content, or the name of the company will be there. And what is memorandum of association? So that's the first thing before you start talking about the content. You say memorandum of association is a document that shows the word, the relationship between the company and the world and the outside world. But articles now is what is internal document. So once you know the word, the key difference between what memorandum of association now and the articles of association, then you should be able to talk about the futures. Okay. Let me leave this now and go to the word to the skills level. Look at this now. Oh, sorry, there's a background noise.
Please submit yourself, Mr. Yanda.
Yes, I have. Thanks, sir. This is November 2015. And look at this question now. The examiner is asking you now that explain briefly how the key issues in corporate governance establish how well or badly a company is being governed. That means that they are asking you on what now? Key issue in what? In corporate governance. And when we say key issue in corporate governance now, we are talking about what? What are the different words? What are the different segments of what of corporate governance? What are the different aspects of what of corporate governance? That is the issues. Some texts we can call it what? Element of corporate governance. That, oh, if this is a corporate governance, what are the things that corporate governance will contain? And you can remember in your study text, it is what? It is 7. But now the examiner is asking you to do what now? The examiner is asking you to explain 5. So that means that the examiner is restricting you now to explain the roles and responsibility of BOD, the composition and balance of what BOD, financial reporting, narrative and audit, director remuneration, risk management and internal control. This is what the examiner wants you to do. Explain what? 5 of these, and there are 7. So that is why if you have some topic that have what element, you have to try as much as possible to do what. Sorry for that. Now you can see now the examiner is ready to give you what I expect you to do. And that means that he's restricting you now, just like in your FR. If the examiner asks you to calculate gross profit margin, he already wants you to calculate the gross profit margin. So if you don't know the formula for gross profit margin, that may be the difficult aspect. So there are some time now, understanding the terms is not really enough, especially if the examiner is restricting you now. And you can see now, the examiner is restricting you now. And I also have the opposite of this question now. This is November 2018 now. Look at the B part, the A part. The examiner is saying develop a proposal highlighting 5 key issues in corporate governance. How many? 5. And it make it the examiner make it open for you now. But look at this now. The examiner has already given you these are the ones I want you to explain. But you can see now in another dive now, the examiner just say 5 key issues. And if you go to the solution now, the examiner is going to do what now? They will explain all the 7. So that means that here now, you can decide not to explain what is the meaning of director remuneration. But here now, if the director remuneration is what is mentioned, you have to do what? You have to explain it. So there are some topics whereby there are 2 ways we can set question on it. Is it that we look at your in your ratio analysis now? There are sometimes the examiner will just say, I want you to calculate profitability ratio. It will make it It will make it open for you. And there are some time whereby it will give you the list of ratio that you need to explain. So you have to make sure that everything that you are doing have a mindset that there are 2 things that can come. There are some time maybe in your FR or in the CR, they can give you the NCR when we are using fair value method. That NCR at acquisition now is 1,000 naira. And we are using fair value method. And there are some time that we are still using fair value method, but it will not be given. Meaning that now you have to calculate it by yourself. And if you want to calculate it by yourself now, if it is not given and you are using fair value method, you already know that, if you check the question very well, you are going to see the share price of the subsidiary. They will say that, the subsidiary share price at the date of acquisition is 2 naira. That means that we are using fair value. And sometimes you can be using fair value method. The value of NCR at acquisition is 1,000 naira. Just go forward down. So just be expecting 2 things. Either it will be it will be given, or they will make it open for you. It's still the same topic, key issues in corporate governance. This one too is also key issue in corporate governance. But the examiner has made it open for you now. I just want you to explain 5. Here now is making you to work. These are the 5 that I want you to explain. Out of 7, explain 5 for me. Then let me now move to the final level now. So you just have that better in foundation, the skills, in the professional as well. As you are reading, as you are going to the exam, have it that, a single times now, there are we can have different way of setting question for me. Then let me go to the professional. And this is advanced audit and assurance. And this is one of the subjects I like most. And case studies. Now, because the reason why I like audit is that you really want to practice audit very well. Some people will not like you. And that is sure. And when I was in school, in our association in my university, NOASA, I was the internal auditor. And before I get to 400 level there, I think I've qualified. So whatever the post that I want to go for, at least nobody can contest with me. So look at this question now. The examiner is saying that what? Discuss the policy and procedure which OBUs and co should have in place in relation to what? To money laundering program. All right. Look at what is the key terms here? It is money laundering. You now need to ask yourself, do you understand the meaning of money laundering? Because if you do not understand the meaning of money laundering now, it will be difficult. So once you know the terms very well, be rest assured that just be calm. That 3 hours, 15 minutes, don't be carried away. Just be calm. But you also need to be fast as well. But relax. That 15 minutes that what you asked to what to read the question, use that 15 minutes very well. Glance through it. And like one of my professors usually say in school there, is that you attack from the back. Meaning that what don't open from the wall. You don't open the first question, you open from the last part. Because sometimes if you see the number one question, sometimes it can be a problem, especially if you do not know it. And it is starting mark. So you can attack from the wall, you can attack from the back, looking at, oh, what's that the section C, all those 15 marks, they can really make the difference. So here now, for you to be able to answer this question now, you need to understand the word, the terms, anti-money laundering. The B part is asking that what? State whether there's a word, any indicators of what? Money laundering. So, and this one now, you can explain money laundering in your own generic knowledge. It's, converting a dirty money into a what? Into a clean money. Oh, that's fine. There's no problem. But look at the B now. The B is saying that what? Evaluate whether there's any indicators of what? Money laundering activities by either the PLC or your staff. For you to now answer this question now for 4 marks, the answer is in the question. This one doesn't cost for you to what to read, or maybe you need to have what. This one is not in the pack now, but it is in what now? It is in the case that you're able to give answer to what now? To this question, question 1B now for 4 marks. That look at this case now. Do you see any indicators whether there's a word? Whether the company or your staff is engaging in money laundering? Where are you going to see the answer now? It is here. It is from the passage that you see whether there's indicators of what money laundering or there's no indicator of money laundering. So now look at the word, look at the C part. The C part is saying what? Describe the requirement of what ESTA 250, consideration of laws and regulation in audit of what financial statement. So now this is what now? This is a standard now. And this one is in your what? Is in your study text now. For you to pass audit very well, it's not like SFM that maybe you still have to make use of some words, some material. But audit, once you stick to the pack, there's no worry, you pass it. So now, here now, this one is not in the case now. This one is from what you know from the study text now. That what, according to this standard, consideration of words, describe the requirement in terms of what? The requirement in terms of what? What do we require the auditor to do? But first of all, you need to understand the terms. What do we mean by what? Laws and regulation. What do we mean by what? Laws and regulation. Your client have what? Various laws and regulation that they need to comply with. Okay? But how will you know that my client is not complying? What are the requirements? What do we expect auditor to do so that you check, so that you're able to know whether your client is complying with laws and regulation or they are not complying? And the first thing that you have to do in every engagement is what? Understand the relevant word, laws and regulations. That, these are laws, these are regulations that my client is expected to comply with. It is now when you understand it that you're able to know whether they are complying or they are not complying. Then the B part as well, the D part, is also in our study text. What are the actions? What are the procedure? Because in audit, it is the procedure that will lead to what? That will lead to evidence. So as the auditor now, if you now discover, and you see, there are some things that you just need to think about it. Look, you are the auditor now. You not suspect that your client is not compliant because there are something in what? In this exam, whether it's at foundation to the professional, there are something that you can provide answer to. Look at the question now. They say what? What are the words? Discuss the action required by the auditor to identify when can auditor identify or suspect material instance of non-compliance by a client with the requirement of what is 250. In terms of what they're asking you now is what? If you identify your client is not compliant, what are the procedure? What are the things that you do? You to ask yourself now, even though maybe you forget this thing in your part. You have read it before, but all these things they are still in chapter 2. And you are already in chapter 5 now, or in chapter 15. But you now need to ask yourself that, okay, if I'm the auditor, what will I do? I identified that my client is not compliant. They are not compliant with the requirement of what? Financial Reporting Council. So ask yourself. You can even get some mark now from your own generic knowledge, but the examiner has what? Has capped it now. That I want you to tell me in accordance with what is 250. So meaning that what? Anything that you want to say now, it should be in accordance with what is 250. So that means that you can see there's a problem now. But assuming that it is just open, that what are the things that you can do? You can be bringing your own generic knowledge. But here now, since the requirement is already say, oh, I want you to say in accordance with what? IS2. I want you to say in accordance with what is 250 now. So meaning that what you can see there's a problem. And let me end this with what? Let me end this with FR2. Let's say what? Discuss the concept of what? Capital maintenance under the conceptual framework of financial reporting relating to what? Capital maintenance under what? Under integrated reporting. So you can see how the question comes. Explain the concept of what? Capital maintenance. Under what? Conceptual framework. That is one. And you can see this is 2 in 1 now. And relate that to capital maintenance under integrated reporting. So meaning that the examiner is testing you on what? On 2 concepts now. So once you are reading the question, just be calm. I want you to explain what in our conceptual framework, what do we refer to as what? Capital maintenance. And I want you to go to what? To integrated reporting now. What do we refer to as what? Capital maintenance. So meaning that what now you have 2 things for you to what to do now. What is capital maintenance in what? In integrated reporting. What is capital maintenance in what? Also in this one, in our conceptual framework. So you can see that this is one. So meaning that what? If we explain the meaning of what? Capital maintenance in what? Under the normal financial reporting what? Financial reporting framework, our conceptual framework, then you now relate it to what? What is the concept of what? Capital maintenance under integrated reporting. And the last one now is what? Say what? Discuss briefly. That is, I don't need what? I don't need to explain more. Just write briefly. 3 guiding principles. 3 guiding principles of what? Of integrated reporting. What are the principles that guide integrated reporting? And I pray one day, maybe very soon, the Security and Exchange Commission will also make it mandatory for companies in Nigeria as well to be producing what? Integrated reporting. Because in our neighboring country, South Africa, if you are listed in the world in the Johannesburg World Stock Exchange, integrated reporting is what is important for you. You have to prepare it. But now we are still struggling with world sustainability reporting. We'll get there too. So what are the principles that guide what? That guide integrated reporting? Just like what we have in our own framework, the quantitative what? Characteristics of what? Useful financial information. The integrated reporting also have its own principle. So if you know that, if you understand the meaning of integrated reporting now, that can really work, that can really help. So now let me stop here. Understand the terms very well. Don't be afraid. There are some things that you need to look at yourself, see yourself in that position. You are asking me to explain this thing. You're asking me to provide elements of this principle. If you really understand the principle very well, then that will really work. That will really be help. Just be open-minded. And the exam was shifted a little bit. Don't be afraid as well. Just be calm. And God will make it easy for every one of us. And thanks for joining as well. Mr. Yorman, you can continue now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yanda, for that wonderful presentation. Can't I have a round of applause for him? Oh my God. Thank you so much, Mr. Yanda, for the practical illustration on how to answer exams question. A lot of questions has been waiting. But let me quickly do a summary of what was discussed with us by Mr. Nyanda. The first and foremost of what he said is that we should understand the times very well, as that being our key driving force. Likewise, he said we should understand the requirement. And he said, a word that he picked from his boss is you should attack from the back. Sorry, how can, what do they call them? How can these people attack Iran from the back? I think we need to do that. But he said we need to start from section C, B, and A, which also correlates with what Madam ID said on starting from what you know and not just the compulsory question. I could deduce from Mr. Yanda's presentation that not everything can be found in the park or be discussed in the class, which means, and he said further that we have to use our generic knowledge, that is by generating idea from our generic knowledge. But Mr. Yanda, there's something that is said to that which I will quickly like you to expatiate before I now ask my people to ask questions. You said that we can generate idea from our generic knowledge, but you said there is a problem where there is a particular reference, like ISA 250.
Yeah.
As asked by the examiner. You only gave us a problem. Isn't there a solution to that, even using our generic knowledge? Is there a way we could solve that problem using our generic knowledge, even if I do not prepare or I do not know ISA? Because me, as much as I love audit, what I hate there is when they are saying ISA 250, ISA 100, there's also one thing that they usually say, like all this co-AED and all those terms. Isn't there a way I could solve that problem using my generic knowledge? Can you just quickly clear that before I allow my people to ask questions? Because they have a lot of things in mind and they've sent that to me to chat. Can you address that, sir?
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, there are some things that especially, okay, let me start from the angles of audit that you can use your generic knowledge to answer to. Let's say, for example, now, if you are asking the examiner what is the meaning of fraud? Or you are asked that, how can you detect fraud? You know, a generic knowledge can play now. That even though if I ask about someone that is not even at this level, that, oh, Mr. A, how can you detect fraud? You know, without reading now, Mr. A should be able to tell me something that, oh, this is how we can detect fraud. So that means that what now? Generic knowledge can also play. That, oh, this is the way I can detect fraud. Oh, this is the meaning of fraud. This is the meaning of what? Of error. But now, when the examiner is now saying that, I want you to say something in accordance with what? In accordance with this thing. Like what we can see on the screen now is in accordance with what? With the requirement. Assuming that what? The examiner just stopped by what? Instance of non-compliance by a client without putting this particular word, you can use your generic knowledge for it. And even though ISA 250 is mentioned here, but look at the requirement very well. Discuss the action required by auditor, meaning that what are the things that auditor will do if he identifies that your client is not compliant? You can use your generic knowledge. If you can't remember the words, if you cannot remember, oh, what is it? But the examiner is key for you to what? To tell me in accordance with this standard. But if you cannot remember the requirement of the standard, then for you to also get marked now, use your generic knowledge as well. Let's ask ourselves. Oh, I discovered that what? Within 21 days now, you have to file your back return. And my client they did not what? They did not comply. What can you do? What can you do? You know, first of all, if I identify that what my client does not comply, the first thing that you should be able to ask ourselves is that, okay, you did not comply. Okay, which regulation you did not comply with? Oh, you did not comply with what? With VAT. We just have to be what? You have to be skeptical very well. Oh, you did not comply with the VAT requirement. Okay, oh, we still need to ask them. We still need to carry out some procedure that, okay, what happened? That you did not what? You did not comply. What is the reason? The circumstances in which it occurred. Oh, there's COVID, and our office is what? Is locked down. We only set through what? Online. Okay, that is the word. If I ask the client that, oh, they can give me some of this reason that, oh, there's COVID, the online portal is not working, we're having a problem to log in and all that. Then I need to ask myself that, what can I do again? Because I have understand, oh, these are the things that you do not comply with. This is the circumstance that lead to it. Then the next thing is that what I have to look at, well, let me discuss with the management. Because if there's a problem now, there are some problems that we don't want it to continue. We have to try as much as possible to, how do you want to solve it? Do you see it as something that is good? Do you see it as something that is bad? So your generic knowledge is what? Just think of it. But before your generic knowledge can really work here now, you really need to understand that non-compliance. And the question is clearly stated now. Discuss the action. Discuss the procedure. The action now, this is a word, this is a verb. That what can you do? Let's now ask ourselves, for you to be at this level, this is the final one. There are some things that you should be able to think of it very well. But don't be carried away with the time. What? Because you have to comply. As organization now, you don't need to be selecting that, oh, these are the regulations I'm going to comply with. I'm not going to comply with. No, all regulations you have to comply with. So as the auditor, now ask yourself, even though if ISA 250 is not mentioned, that what will you do if you discover that your client is not compliant? If every one of us, if you think of this thing very well, you should be able to say something about it, and it's just 5 months. So even though if you can't get the 5 because you don't remember it's at 250, then you can use your generic knowledge of write more. So that if one is not going, the examiner can see help you in another point that you're making reference to. You can provide answer to this thing if you're able to think of it very, very well. So just be calm. But if you remember,
sir,
it's at
apology to cut you short, sir. Is it possible for me to just say, according to ISA 250, this, and not even answering directly in accordance with ISA 250?
The problem is that if you are not sure, don't quote. I want to say, for example, now, ISA 500 deal with audit evidence. If I'm not sure that ISA 500 deal with what audit evidence, there's no need of quoting the standard. But if you are sure that, what the point I'm making reference to now is there, then you can say, in accordance with what ISA 250 now, these are the action that you need to do. If you are really sure. But if you are not sure, don't quote a wrong standard. Just like, let's say in our financial reporting now, they ask you a question on impairment. If you don't know that IS 36 deal with impairment, just say with relevant accounting standard, relevant audit standard. There's no need of saying the wrong standard if you are not really sure. Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. May I ask our audience, sir, to ask a general question, because they've been raising their hand while some has also sent a message to the platform.
All right, now.
May I have the pleasure to call on Mr. Obise Sankinde to please ask his question. The is or are. Are you there? Obise Sankinde, are you there? Okay, while I'm waiting for him, let me use this medium to call Madam David Anna to ask her a question. David Anna, you can quickly unmute yourself and ask a question. While waiting for him, we have Mr. Idris Ibrahim Mohammed, who also have a question. Mr. Idris Ibrahim Mohammed. Okay, while we are waiting for them, sir, we appreciate your time, and we really appreciate you for the wonderful presentation. We wish you more wisdom and understanding, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
and
much.
God bless you, sir.
Yeah.
Permit me to move to our next speaker. We have been seeing people with a direct click stating this is how to do this, this is how to do that. If you really look at today's camp, you will see that we started from the secret of exam success, and after that, we moved to the practical way of answering questions. And we have seen how to answer the question effectively. Okay, so today, now we shall be moving on to the next presentation, which is, permit me to call on Mr. Patrick to tell us and educate us on how he passed the Ican examination after several attempts. Many people have been saying, oh, I passed my exam at a go, I passed exam at a go, but is it all of us that were able to scale through at a go? Then let someone who do it more than once like me really tell us how he was able to pass his exam after many attempts, even when you feel like quitting. But just say, no, this thing, you must complete the journey together. Mr. Patrick, you are welcome, sir. You have the floor. Are you there?
Thank you very much, sir. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir, we can. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. My name is Ako Patrick Okori. I'll be sharing my experience, how I passed Ican exams after several attempts. I would like to start by thanking the management and staff of IoT professionals for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you very much and keep up the good work. My Ican experience is a kind of a little bit lengthy because of combining work and transfers. But I thank God that at the tail end, I stumbled across an IoT to our advantage. I think as Madam ID explained earlier, it is not all information we should make use of when preparing for Ican exam. For me, in my own case, it was on a Ican website. I came across IoT professional. So I concluded that I will get what I was looking for. Before I joined IoT professionals, all along my Ican dream, especially with case study, I knew there was something I was not getting right, something I was missing. Because after 3 attempts writing case study, I kept getting low scores. My first attempt writing case study I got 17, second attempt 24, third attempt 17 again. And I felt there was something I was not getting right. So when I came across Ican online tutors, IoT professionals, I think I would get what I was looking for since it was on Ican website. And to cut the long story short, I'm not regretting it that I made use of the information on Ican website to become a student of IoT professionals. I was able to use all the information I gained. I watched videos over and over to understand the approach I never understood initially in class. Most times, for some of us who feel that asking some kind of question is not really, you feel it's going to be embarrassing, but instead of asking, you decide to keep it to yourself. But in my own case, the ones I couldn't ask, when I went over through the videos over and over and over, I was able to understood all the approaches and the exam tactics I was not able to understand from the general class. Secondly, paying attention to details. As student members preparing for Ican exam, you must pay attention to details both in class and in exam hall. That's what Emperor Yomai taught us. If you start paying attention to details from the class, you can easily adhere to it in the exam hall. I think this is one of the important keys to passing any Ican exam, paying attention to all the details. When I joined the IoT professionals preparing for case study, Mr. Oruyomi Kaseli, who is our moderator here today, will always emphasize on paying attention to details. Especially, he brought about the ACE skill boxes, which he summarized as a DPA, ISE, CR. Then even the composition of the report, little details like spacing, dates, and all that, he insisted will fetch us mark. And as a matter of fact, I adhered to those details and it helped me. It moved me from the score of 17 after 3 attempts to scoring 59 in case study, which by the grace of God today, I am qualified as a chartered accountant. Wow. Hope you cannot hear me.
We can. Bravo.
Yes, okay. Thirdly, for my own, which I call practice, and practice. As student member preparing for Ican exam, I think we must not be tired of practicing question and writing in preparation for the exam. I believe this is one of the crux of preparing for the exam. As a matter of fact, it enables us to ascertain our speed and accuracy. I think that was one of the things I gained most from my experience with IoT professionals. As students of IoT, we were taught on writing and solving questions, no matter how tedious. One of the mistakes I made, I think I would have gotten better than 59, was that I did not share my solutions with our tutor, even for the fact that he gave us his attention. He gave us his attention to respond to our questions and even submit our requests, but I did not make use of that window. But as a matter of fact, I did solve a lot of questions from previous diets, and I had heard to some of the, I think almost all the instructions which he gave, which by the grace of God is my saving grace today. So practicing the exam question, as a matter of fact, it built my confidence. It really built my confidence that even though I was scoring 17 and all that, with what I have learned so far, with the questions I've solved, my experience, my confidence was really built, and I felt confident. And when I entered the exam hall, I was writing. So in my conclusion, my experience was basically making use of information I gained from IoT professionals through the opportunity of watching the online videos over and over again. I watched the online video over and over at my own time, at my own pace. I watched the video over and over. I was able to pay attention to all the little details because our lecturer insisted those details will fetch you mark. Even the spacing, line spacing, dates, and all that. Those little details will fetch us mark. And most especially practicing the questions severally over and over from previous diets. I, as a matter of fact, strongly believe that as a student member of the institute preparing for Ican exam, if you put to use the guides and instruction from IoT professional lectures, you'll be able to pass your exam and fulfill your dreams of becoming a chartered accountant, God's willing. I think I wouldn't have been using the word severally if I came across Ican online tutor before I did. So I think this is my experience. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Akko Patrick. Actually, can I say I'm blushing? Just emotional. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Like, seriously, how I wish this could have even been in the case study class. You really make my eyes to sweat, like seriously. And I believe that our case study professionals that are here, they could learn from you, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. From what I could call, from what Mr. Patrick Akko discussed with us, is watch the video over and over. I could remember the admin, every one of us keep telling us that you should watch your video. That is what you paid for. I could even remember telling us, you will have paid for this video. Utilize your money by watching it. Why wouldn't you watch your video? If you're in the car, you could listen to the audio. If you are in the distance, you can watch your video. Just 30 minutes, you could achieve one of the greatest feats you may think you could not, because the time is not always there. But I believe that the experience of Mr. Patrick would also aid our preparation going forward, especially my case study professionals. You could understand from, you could hear from him now that ability to practice. I use it as I said, by submitting several attempts for review is one of the greatest distance to success of Ican case study. I've actually been telling us that it is not enough when we do an analysis and you didn't submit for review. Thank you so much. You also said we should understand the exam tactics. Right, sincerely. I keep on saying, we keep on saying, if I thought that we look elsewhere, first exhaust what you have. And if you look at the revolving of the success camp, it is more than just coming to the class and do teach and go. It is about knowing the right things to do, even after studying. Attention to details is one of the tools that Mr. Patrick said. Details in the class are paramount. And we do not joke with that. When it comes to paying when it comes to the information we shared in the class, some always think we use that to wallow up the time. While some think it's just discussing some aspects that are not even relevant to what we are discussing. There's a particular topic that instead of the instructor going straight, if you first of all give some details, some information about it, your facilitator, your instructor, they are not just teaching that topic. They know, if you look at the past question, you always see examiners comment. The same thing, they know the weaknesses of some of the students, and they do not want us to also fall the same pit. That is why they try to give that details or the information why we're in the class, so that even when you are in the examination, that will be what will be remembered. If you want to do the leave 2 line space, you do it. I think this is just a tantamount to the statement of we've been making in our case study, and also for some question. Every one of them said that we should solve question from the previous diet. In conclusion, Mr. Patrick Akko said we should endeavor to put to use all the guide from IoT. Sincerely, that is one of the key to the success. Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick. If you have a question,
oh, you were
okay.
If you know this kind
our discussion, if you can only ask. Permit me to quickly run to our next speaker. I'll be calling one of my boss. He's also an industry expert, and what have you. Mr. Afisa Adebinkwe shall be discussing with us. As we all know, today is 3rd of May, and the exam We'll be starting on the 10th. How many days? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days maximum, but I don't call it 7 days. I call it we only have some minutes to the examination. How do we go about it? Is there still hope? Me, I've not been reading all this while. In fact, the lecture video, I'm just turning everything. The class, I'm not regular. I don't answer questions. I don't ask questions. And I've not even been consistent with the class. Is there hope for me with this remaining minutes to the Ican exam? I hope Mr. Afis Adebimpe should be doing justice to that by the theme for him called Passing the Ican exam in less than a week. You have the floor. Mr. Afis Adebimpe, you are welcome, sir. Also, sir, you can share your screen with us. Mr. Afis Adebimpe is fully prepared for us. Please, if you have any question, you can drop it or just raise your hand. If you raise your hand, you'll be observed. Wow. Somebody said, thank you, Mr. Patrick, for sharing your experience on how you make the use of the video. Sincerely, I get emotion. And my eyes was just sweating. Thank you, Mr. Patrick, once again. Mr. Adebimpe, you have the floor. You can share your screen as well.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here again. Let me share my screen, though I don't have much to discuss because each and every speaker at a point, I've identified some of those points I want to talk about, but it's very interesting. The topic before me is passing Ican exam in less than a week. The almighty Ican, as we all know, is the registered institution in Nigeria that governs the accountancy profession. Of course, we have other institutions like ANA, like CITN, but Ican has come to stay. And that's the major reason why we need to be part of this recognized institution. It is also very important that writing Ican exam is not for the small boys, it's for those that are hardworking. And I pray at the end of the day, success will be for us. In less than a week, is it still possible for us to write Ican and pass it? The answer is yes. It's a function of you taking into cognizance the 5 major elements I'm going to discuss with you. Of course, each and every one of us has our own pattern of writing exam. We have our own pattern of preparing for examination. But Ican Online Tutors have come up with 5 tools with which, if we can follow, to be a goal for us at the end of the day. How to prepare for your exam in less than a week. Our exam comes up next week, if I'm not mistaken, 10th of May, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, we have
yes,
just
sir.
like 7 days to our exam. But let me just give you my own personal experience. To be honest with you, I've never for once prepared for Ican for 2 months, 3 months. The answer is because I've always studied so hard before the examination, because I studied wide. I understand that the only way I can hit at that time was to understand my book very well. And that has really helped me. And I believe that experience, I can bring it to the table to help you today. You will notice some of us that studied 3 months to the exam, even some people 1 year to the exam, they still fail. But those that studied just a week to the exam, 3 weeks to the exam, they are the one coming out with flying colors. As a matter of fact, some of them will go ahead to become the prize winner. Then you now be asking yourself, is it that they have luck, we don't have luck? Maybe they have the luck, but the best thing is they are very smart about their planning. And that's why we are here today with 5 major tools that you need to take into cognizance to pass your exam in less than a week. The first of its kind is what we were all taught in ethics, governance, and what's it called? Strategy management. That to identify your strength and your weakness. If I decide to go into more details to this, I will not leave here today. But I will streamline it into 3 major segments. Identify your skills your strength and weakness as to area of studies, as to the topic to study, as to how to read for the exam, as to your mental ability, and as to your physical strength. Like I mentioned earlier, you need to know where you belong. Some of us can read 8 hours. There is no problem. I studied 1 week to the exam, 2 weeks to the exam, and that's how I've been doing it. I've identified my own strength, and I've been working on my strength over the years. But you don't have that strength. It means for you to have your strength, you don't need to copy your colleague. So the first thing is ask yourself, within the next 1 week, how many hours can I enjoy myself to read on a daily basis? If your strength is just 2 hours, my sister, don't force your brain. You might run mad if care is not taken. If your strength is just 2 hours to read, don't listen to any motivational speaker. That is how God has programmed your own brain. And how are you going to maximize that 2 hours? Is by reading the major content. Ican has provided us with what they call study pack. Ican online tutors have given us what we call study material, video lectures, and also audio lectures. If you can combine these 3 things within your 2 hours of studies, then you are good to go. All you just need to do is to go back to Ican breakdown. Ican have a study pack, and there's a breakdown of topic. For instance, I wonder why we keep failing SFM when you and I know that cost of capital is a major topic. When we all know that merger and acquisition is a major topic. These are areas that we need to concentrate on. And that's how you need to identify your strengths. Identify your strengths in the area of time management. You need to manage your time. If it's only 2 hours you can use to read, please manage that 2 hours appropriately. One thing you need to do after this class, for this number 1, is identify all the topics you are expected to learn. Go by the study pack. Ican will always identify major area, soft area, and area of general knowledge. Analyze your reading based on the study pack. It has worked for me over the years, and that is why I'll be preparing for Ican for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. While some people that want to read everything are spending 3 months, 4 months, and still they will fail. I'm not trying to say we are better than them, but some of them could not manage their time very well because Ican syllabus is too wide for you to cover. So you need to concentrate on those areas that are unique to the Ican syllabus. That is time management. Identify your strength as to topic that you know better. Identify your strength as to topic that you know better. And that boils down to how you answer examination questions. We ask ideas, yes, as regards, is it compulsory you answer question number 1? There's no yes and no answer to that, please. There's no yes or no answer to that. If you like, answer it. If you like, don't answer it. But the best answer is manage your time very well. And that was the response I gave to us. For me, I always advise students not to focus on question number 1 first, except where you are fully sure that you can attempt it with no doubt. But if you are not fully sure that you can attempt it with no doubt, please start from question 15 mark. If you can get 10 of 15 mark, we have 2 15-mark questions. If you can get 10 from each, that is what? 20. From the other 20 marks question, we have to answer 2 of it. If you can get 15 from that, add up together, that's even above 50, right? And from the composite question, just go back there and put in your best. 10 is enough for you to fly. Because the pass mark is what? 50. But for some of us that God has blessed with knowledge, we are ready to explore and we are willing to get 80 marks, 90% out of 100. That is where you are free to solve questions as much as you can. But for those of us that we have been writing Ican for, God knows now, I will advise you to please focus on area that you know you can attempt best. You can attempt the composite question last. There's no problem about it. But just ensure that you attempt it. Not attempting might lose you a lot of marks, but ensure you attempt it. And that is another way to analyze your strength and weakness. Another way to analyze your strength and weakness within the next 1 week is this. If you notice that while you are studying, you get dizzy easily, then I think that forms my number 4 element. You need to exercise your brain. You need to exercise your body. You need to take enough water. You need to give yourself enough rest. Please, motivational speaker will say, no, don't rest. Keep reading. No, our brain is not the same. You need to identify your strengths with respect to emotions. You need to identify your strength with respect to stress. All this is important for you to pass your Ican exam. So the first thing is analyze yourself first. Is 1 week enough for me to pass my Ican exam? If the answer is yes, now take the Ican study pack, the Ican material given to you, either in hard copy or soft copy. Follow their course mark breakdown and the weighted percentage given to it. Align your studies to Ican study pack. That is my key number 1. Key number 2 is an addition to key number 1. Give yourself enough time to study. Priority of topics. There's enough. There's a lot for you to study. At this point, you don't need to be studying using 5 textbooks, 10 textbooks. That is good. Maybe 2 months to your exam, 3 months to your exam. But when the exam is approaching like this, it is advisable that you only use that material that is being used for you in the class. If you attend offline lectures, those materials that your lecturer used for you in the class is good, because once you open it, everything that has been discussed will come to your brain back and you will understand it easily. Those ones that we used to teach you at Ican online tutors, that's what you should use at this time to prioritize the topic. So take the topic one after the other. There are some topics that even without you reading them, you understand it perfectly. Those are your strengths. Quickly capitalize on them fast. Once you are done doing that, there are some topics that no matter how much they teach you, you will forget. A very good example is cost of capital. So those ones are the ones you read last because you easily forget them. So when you read them last, you can still remember some of the content when you get to the exam. And I wish you all the best in terms of memory retrieval. Afterwards, you need to also organize your study habits. Ask yourself, is it my strength to study with group? If the answer is no, don't follow the motivational speaker that say study with group. Tell them the answer to see if you are correct. If your own type is to read on your own, please go to the library, go to the corner of your room and start reading. You know those topics that will come out. You know those topics that are regularly tested. Focus on them and focus on other areas that are not regular but are part of the syllabus. And that is how you prioritize the topic that you want to study. And please, there are some topics that I feel like, no, I will study maybe on that day. Don't leave anything for the last minute. Try as much as possible to study to the best of your ability. But if you are the type that can only study for 1 hour, you can try to add additional 2 hours to it to make it 3 hours. But ensure that you did not overstress your brain so that you will not be part of those that will go to the toilet to go and sleep. Please, there are people that go to the toilet, what they do to go and sleep, to see if they can see people to talk to be able to teach them the answer. And that might not work this time because I can change every year. And we need to know that. Practice past question. To pass Ican exam, yes, it is good to study. But how do you examine yourself before going into that exam proper? Is by giving attempt to some past questions. Past questions is a template, is a format that guides you on how I can ask questions. It guides you on the approach to give response to questions. And that is why you need to take your Pathfinder as your Bible or as your Quran at this point in time. Your Pathfinder should be by you. And never cram anything from the Pathfinder. See it as a what? As a guide. Because if the past question is for you to say, okay, this is how question is being set last year. This is the structure of how question is being asked. And this is the solution that is provided. It's not for you to cram. Yeah, we can be so lucky that I can repeat question, but that does not mean that it should be our priority to say, without studying past question, without cramming past question, you will not pass. No, study the past question to test your understanding. It is an effective way to prepare for your exam. Another key element, which forms the number 4, is you need to eat well within the last 1 week. You need to get enough sleep. When I say enough sleep, I didn't mean to say sleep 5 hours, 6 hours. No, just rest. Because if you do not rest, your brain will be stressed out, and that might affect you so well. That might affect you so well. So that's why you have to take enough break, enough sleep, take enough water. Take enough water. If you are the type that can swim, it is advisable you go to the swimming pool, because swimming is like complete exercise. You exercise your brain, you exercise your whole body. See, this is a kind of two way to pass exam. If I have the exam to write, this is how I study. I study so hard, but I ensure that I eat well, I take enough milk. Please take enough milk. I take enough fruits. I take enough chocolate. Yes, all these help memory retention. Ask anybody, go online, ask your doctor, they will tell you the same thing. Take enough rest, sleep 2 hours in between, take good food, not a bar and amala all the time. Light good food, good that are nutritional, and ensure you do some form of exercise. You can do it, just 2 hours exercise is enough. In between that time, you also enjoy yourself. Because if you remember in psychology of education, there's a part of learning called domain of learning, psychomotor domain of learning. It's very important. It's very important to arouse your interest towards learning. It's very important to arouse your knowledge, your thinking faculty towards learning. And that's why you have to exercise yourself. You can skip rope, you can jog, you can squat. Just do something to control your brain, to your central nervous system, to every part of yourself. Do something to help yourself out. Above all, like I mentioned before starting my lecture, I said this topic given to me, we all have different approach as to how we study for exam. But this is like a universal tested and trusted approach. And above all, for this key concept is prayer. We all need prayer, be it a Muslim, Christian, traditionalist, pagan, as the case may be. Prayer answers it all. So now, why are you praying? After you've studied 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, God willing, success belongs to God alone, not by your strength. And that's why you ensure that at the end of everything, you pray. Before you start your exam, you pray. Please don't pray to disturb the person sitting next to you. Don't pray to disturb people in the exam. Just pray within yourself. After writing your exam, pray and wish yourself all the best. Members of the audience, this marks the 5 major key concepts that I'm giving to us to prepare us well within the next 1 week for our forthcoming examination. I wish you all the best. Of course, your method is good, but you can also apply this method too. Thank you and God bless.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulhafiz, for that wonderful presentation. Wow. Okay, also clap with me. Thank you. I think you deserve more than that. Thank you so much. With this minutes, Mr. Toyosi Abayami just confirmed that, yes, so PM strategy, yeah. Mr. Abdulhafiz has really discussed with us, and from what I can deduce from his presentation, he said we need to identify our area of strength and weaknesses. Likewise, we should try to manage our time efficiently. That's what he called time management. And he said further that if you are the type that can study effectively within an hour, that we should try as much as possible to add additional 2 hours to make it 3 hours. But if you cannot, you can just declare, you can just study for what? 2 hours minimum for yourself. Likewise, importantly, he said we need to analyze our reading based on the study pack. Yeah, I shall begin the questionnaire before I ask you for the further question that my audience has put up on the chat. Sir, you asked us to focus on, you asked us to analyze our reading based on the study pack. And there's this notion that we need to really cover all the syllabus to pass Ican exam. let me now ask, is it enough to cover all the syllabus before one can pass the Ican exam? And are we going to also analyze our reading to cover all the syllabus for us to really pass the Ican exam? Can you do justice to that for us, please,
So
sir?
thank you, sir. Just like I mentioned, you cannot cover Ican syllabus. You can never cover Ican syllabus. Some of us cover Ican syllabus because we are Ican lecturers. Like me, I always try to cover the syllabus. I'm more reason I've been studying for Ican exam for like 2-3 years now. So towards the exam, all I do is revision. That's why 1 week is enough. So to answer the question very well, the major reason why you are analyzing the study part is because you don't want to cover the syllabus, but focus on those areas that Ican ourselves has identified as core questionable questions. So core examinable questions. And that's why you are doing the analysis. It's not too late for you to analyze it. Okay, let me give a very good example of what I'm talking about. Now let me start. I saw a question in the chat, in chat comment. Somebody said, what is the AOC? So what? To PM, right?
Exactly. That's the next question I'm about to ask.
5 major, just to answer my question, your question. That is how to prepare. If you go by the Ican, or what's it called, study part, Ican has weighted some questions to be 50% examinable. Am I correct? Some of us don't study that part. Maybe because I'm a lecturer, that's why I study it. Ican has weighted some questions to be 25%. Ican has weighted some topic to be 15%. My brother, you want to write corporate reporting, you don't know group account. Are you going to pass?
Magic in heaven, before.
So that is how to pass Ican exam. You have already analyzed, you know, those areas that are examinable. It's just for you to identify your strength within those areas, concentrate on it. Those parts that are your weakness, try to intensify effort to get it correct. Now, to start with, let me pick PM, for instance. If you go by Ican coursework, relevant costing is compulsory. Transfer pricing is compulsory. Variance analysis is compulsory. Budgeting is compulsory. Limiting factor is compulsory. I've mentioned like 5 to 6, right? Now go to the past question from 2015 to date. Tell me 1 year that any of these topics I've mentioned, that 2 or 3 of them did not come out. Can you tell me? The answer is no. This is not a function of the repeat question. This is a function of trend. Ican itself have given us the trend, but some of us don't follow those trends. Now, for group account, for corporate reporting, for instance, accounting standard is key for you to know. Now, because I'm in practice, maybe that's why I know all the standards offhand. But to write Ican exam, I need what we call specific standard. What are specific standard? IFRS 15 is specific standard. IFRS 16, lease accounting, is specific standard. IFRS 9 is specific standard. IS 16 is specific standard. IS 12 is specific standard. You see all these standards I mentioned. How will you do account without group account, without published account? All these standards will come with it. These are things that you know, but I don't know why we are running up and down. All you just need to do is to sit down, calm down, trust yourself in this journey that you are going to pass. You know those questions that, those topics that Ican will ask. Some of us are after past question, go and cram. No, topic is attempts. It's a professional exam. I remember one particular diet that I passed. I won't mention that year. One of my friends, she came out from the exam, she balanced her group accounts in a different way. That is entirely different from the way I saw my own. Another person came out to tell me that this is the own finance, a group account balance. Do you know what I did? I went to Miss Cashmere, because at the time, Cashmere was like a role model, was one of the good guys in Ican that wrote one of the best-selling books. I went to him and said, boss, this is how I solved it too. And I balanced, but about 3-4 people have come to say the balance. He said, you know what? Provided you have followed the principle, leave balancing of accounting. And that is it. You just follow the principle. It is a professional exam. It is a principle that examiner will mark. So to answer the question once again, those areas that Ican itself has given more weighted mark, cover them. If we have 5 of them, try to cover 3. There's a background noise somewhere. Try to cover 3 of them. And the remaining 2, you can just have a good overview of it. And that is enough for you to pass Ican exam. Mind you, 100 is not for everybody. 80% is not for everybody, but 51% is for majority. Why not be part of the people that will pass 50 and above? Because at the end of the day, we are all chartered. That's my own position for you. Does that make sense? So let me answer that person that
God
says,
bless you,
PM.
sir.
Sorry, sir. For your PM, you can add to your profile of reading relevant question. You can add to your profile of reading transfer pricing. Just solve one question on them. Get understanding of them. Variance analysis, decision making, and budgeting. So that is that. Thank you.
God bless you more, Mr. Blafis. My professionals in PM that asked the question, that is a testament to what you have done. Thank you so much, sir. Also, part of what Mr. Hafiz has analyzed with us is that we should focus on the area that we can attempt best. And really see that this actually correlates with what the majority has preached today. Likewise, and importantly,
sorry, boss. Somebody said SFM. That person is only.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, my TSFM. Oh, my God.
Can I answer that, sir?
All right, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can continue.
I'm not bragging, but Ican online tutors are the best of tutors when it comes to teaching you what examiner wants to hear. So for SFM, if you are our student, please focus on all that have been taught in the class. But if you are not part of our students, you can add this to your profile. Cost of capital. Cost of capital is, okay, sir. Cost of capital is very wide. Learn everything about cost of capital. Merger and acquisition. Merger and acquisition is actually under business valuation.
Exactly.
APV. Learn some theoretical aspect of international finance. How to mitigate forex. That's I can say for now. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, sir. God bless you more. I would have loved to continue, but the thing they do with jiggy, that the time is really going. Otherwise, I would have just asked you to continue. My audience, if you still have questions, please, at this juncture, while I'm trying to summarize what my boss has, what my professor has shared with us, you can still unmute yourself or you raise up your hand to ask questions. At this juncture, you are all having the floor. And part of what he said is that we should exercise our brain, exercise our body, and also relax. Oh my goodness. If you are among those that really joined us during the sensitization at the beginning of the diet, there was a testimony that was shared of a lady that thought is just reading, everything is like an exam. In fact, the person was sick according to the information, according to the experience shared. The person was sick. Instead of her taking care of herself, she did not. In fact, she was admitted in the hospital, but she discharged herself without the doctor, before the doctor even discharged her, thinking that the exam is next week. All what I've read, all what I've paid for, I must write Ican. I think it's Mr. Blafis that shared it with us. We say that Ican is not a do or die affair, if I could remember vividly. And then he said, the lady eventually gave up the host, even before the Ican that she used to, that because of the Ican that she even discharged herself from the hospital. Health is wealth, as my boss will said, and health is for all. Health is not for some selected people. Exercise keeps the body fit, then it keeps your memory even refreshed. By doing exercise, my dear, we see that thing that you think is not flowing. In fact, he has given us a clue. You are reading, you are not getting it, Abby. Please just take a stroll. Just take a stroll. When I say take a stroll, with your book, hold it. and be walking in the street and be checking. Apology, let me quickly chip in this. Also from Boss Kashmir, also is a god to majority accounting students, except those who do not know him or move closer to him, sincerely speaking. Then in one of his class, he said, when you are writing Ican exam, you are like a madman walking on the street. Majority could not get that message until he analyzed. Why you want to write Ican, you have your jotter on your hand. Remember that most of my bosses today said, jot down, write something, do your revision, follow this, follow that. You jot. In fact, someone can jot a whole pack in just 2 single sheets. And you are walking on the road and you are trying to memorize what you are doing the distance. Some people will even be walking and they will run against you. You'll be like, is this person mad? My dad is not the person. No. Don't let us call ourselves a name until we are chapter that will become normal according to him. And that is what exercises we give. By the time you just get home or you just get to where you are going and you find out that, oh, so this is what I've covered, just taking a stroll. That is one of the best strategy. Importantly, you also said you should read on your own. If you know you cannot read in group. Group reading is not for everyone. Just as my first speaker, Madam ID, has said. If I love to read in a noisy environment. Noisy environment is your own strength. Please go to the market area. It's just to lock myself in a room. Like, don't go out, child. Please lock yourself. Let them even knock your door for this time and see that you are still breathing. If that is your own strategy, follow it. And he also said that we should read based on priority of topic. That is keynote. He has tried as much as possible to give some priority of topic in SFM for professionals and that of the PM. We have a lot of them in which I believe that our instructor would have done justice to in the class and would have told us, this subject is one of the most examining topics. Pay attention. Oh my God, I could remember our facilitators because I do listen to most of the videos in case you don't know. Likewise, everybody said we should practice past question. If today's word that we'll be doing bim, bim, bim on our head is practice past question, why not? It's enough to take home. And prayer is the key for the exam success, as noted by Mr. Abdulaziz Adebimpe. My boss, a round of applause for you once again. Before we actually go to the final summary of the presentation for today's success camp, may I have 3 to 5 people to identify themselves by raising their hand and ask question. Oh, I have Senior Angela Ibe. You have the floor, ma. Please ask your question. Madam Angela, ask your question, please. Unmute yourself because you are muted. Yes, you will get the contact of the last speaker is in your, what is it called? Just post on the group that I need the contact of Mr. Afis. You will get it. Yes, I have called you earlier, Madam David Anna. You can unmute yourself and talk now.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, I'm still writing the foundation, and this is my first sitting. So, I just got to know that there is a compulsory question, and I didn't know before. I've been practicing past questions. I see 20 objective without the German objective. Then I see, Then I see 6 theory questions to answer 4. So they didn't indicate that number 1 is compulsory. So it's a new concept to me. I don't understand it. Please, can someone elaborate more on it or something? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful question.
Can I give a response on that? Can I give a response on that?
Mr. Yanda, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Hello.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Okay. So, sir, prepare. Both of you, prepare. All right,
Okay.
sir. Mr. Blapis, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Reda, permit me to comment. So for foundation, there's a little bit of exemption as to how the question is set. So for foundation, there's nothing like compulsory question, right? So what you have is the number one is objective question, is 20 marks. And the number two is, I think, answer 4 out of 6. You are very correct. So we have compulsory question in skill level and professional level. And that I pray you will experience by next diet. Thank you and God bless.
Amen. I hope that question is answered, but I would like Mr. Inyada to also, what do they want to do? Just help us. All right, Mr. Inyada, do you have something to chip in?
Mr. This has mentioned it all. In foundation, there's no compulsory. So what you just have is 20 MCQ, which is carried 1 mark each. Then the section B is you'll be given 6 questions, which 20 mark. Then you'll be required to answer 4 out of it. So in foundation, there's no compulsory question. The compulsory question is for skills and for professionals.
Thank you so much. I hope you could understand that those two people are the specialists. Like I said, they are all an industry expert, and you have heard from the word horse mouth. All right, Mr. Shemo Kanlawan or Ms. Shemo Kanlawan, you have the floor. You can ask a question. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. I really learned a lot from this. So I'm writing the foundation exam. So I'm just wanted to ask, what are the key materials or resources we're allowed to take into the exam halls for Ican? That's my question.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Abdulhafiz, can you just please assist us to do justice to that?
Apologies, a call came in. Can she take that question again? Thank you.
It is, what are the materials, the resourceful material that we are allowed to take into the examination hall, if any?
Okay, thank you. Your dockets and your writing materials. Thank you. And also you can you can also go with water, chewing gum, and sweets.
Yes.
What about touch?
Some people we are hearing new things today. I can go to the examination with my sweet and chewing gum.
Go with your
lighter.
With your lighter.
No, sir. You don't do that.
I'm not smoking there.
That place is dark. I do go with lantern and they allow me.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe because you're an elderly person. Maybe because you're an elderly, but that's fine. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. All right. I'm already feeling it. Don't worry. My holiday is blessed already.
Tattoo is that one. Please, I couldn't register my course up to now. I beg, is there any help?
Okay, you couldn't register your course. On the chat, please just drop. We drop a contact of the direct contact of the head of student affairs of Ican. Madam, what did I say? Her name? Fumilayo Chitoju. And she's always responsive. Just chat her if you do not have a call card. Chat her up. If you have a call card, call her. This is the challenges I'm having. Instantly, while you are on call, she will resolve it.
Okay, on
I
this
don't want to go to the extent of
this
mentioning, but just do that. Mr. Kingsley Oyeka, you have the floor. Talk to me.
I can see
the
link.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so very much
sir.
for this very helpful orientation. And I'm sure that, for a lot of us, this will help us to adequately prepare in the dying minutes of this preparation. So I just wanted to ask, regarding case study, would there be a review for the pre-scene? A lot of us are eagerly waiting for that. Would there be a revision when the pre-scene question comes out?
For case study?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. May I answer that question?
Sorry?
Can I answer that question?
Sure, please. Anyone who can. Thank you.
Go ahead.
All right, sir. Sorry, sir. This question, except you are just joining us yesterday or today, we've already started. In fact, we're through with the first requirement of the case study. I anchor case study myself. And I can confirm to you that they've started submitting reports for review. So we've started the analysis of the precinct. Please, if you are just joining us or you're about to join us, you still have the floor. Just message any of this number that you are seeing online, or you just message the admin directly in order to be part of the journey. Ican case study, oh my goodness. It is do and do. Just come and join. If you have not joined us, just message that number and join us immediately. You can screenshot or you just dial the number immediately after the session. We have started the precinct analysis. Requirement 1 is done dusted, but we're still going to do the overall review. In fact, requirement 2 is expected to happen today. It's supposed to happen yesterday, but because of this thing, we postponed it to today. So today we are having the requirement 2. So just be part of the moving trade. Just message the number that you're seeing on your screen is 081-8599-3275. You can save it with IoT admin or IoT manager. Okay. And you can also send email to us by contact@icanonlinetutor.com.ng. Either of the two. Please do that immediately, even while the session is ongoing, so that you will not miss out on the second part of it. Somebody else raising hand. Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
So you're all waiting for me to ask you to ask question. Where is your hand? Sorry, I'm looking for the hand that is raised. What's your raised hand? Please lower your hand.
There's a question on the chat. There's a question on the chat, please.
All right. If your question has been answered, please just lower your hand. All right. Please help us to do HR direct number. Is 081. Are you there? Okay. I will type it again. Is 081. Everybody take this. Sorry, this is 081-8599-3275. That is the HR or our admin number. Please contact the number immediately if you haven't done so. Okay, is the use of any calculator allowed in the exam? They are closed. We are closed. We are not closed. We are open 24 hours, 24/7. We are open. Mr. Abdulhafiz, is any calculator allowed in the Ican exam? Mr. Abdulhafiz, are you?
Yes, sir, it is. Call that number again. Let's get it.
It is. The number again is 081.
Calculator is allowed.
Okay, sir, I'm coming, sir. Please hold on. This number is vital. This is the important part. Okay, the number again is 081. Have you written that? Yes. 8599-3275. Or you check the chat, the number on that chat box. That is the number. Okay. Just contact it. That is our HR. That's our admin. That's our manager. Is that taking? Any other question? I'm open to answering question now. My question tactics don't arouse. Okay, more questions. Okay, I should be checking the chat. Message sent regarding the case study. Yes, we get the response now. We are on live session. After this thing, you get the response. Thank you for sending a message. Immediately, you'll be contacted. Okay? Thank you so much for that. Any other question before I will summarize, before we go to the summary of what has been discussed with us today? Any other question? Please, for those people that might be joining the success camp that are not writing the Ican exam for this date, yes, our registration is open. You can start registering with us. Just message that number.
But so,
if you are not with us for this diet,
class that
the number that I dropped.
Because we're not aware of this one that just ended now.
Our class has not ended. No, the session has not ended though. I'm only giving important information before we go to the session end. Okay, that for those people that are not writing Ican May exam, but you are in this success camp session, Our registration continues. We do not have any closing hour. Our operating hour is 24/7 like ATM, from 6 a.m. to another 6 a.m. That's how we operate. Just message the number, signify your interest in any of our classes. And as you can hear, as you've seen, as you've heard, we have the industry experts that are taking each courses. And I promise you that any step you're taking, you will never regret it with us, by God's grace. Yes, why I'm expecting more questions to be asked in order to provide response to that, let me quickly do the summary of what all my bosses has discussed with us by myself. I call it the effective last-minute way to pass the Ican exam. As we've heard from the presentation so far today, that adopting an effective study techniques is one of the most important ways to actually achieve the success in the exam, just as we've heard from the pros of the academy, ranging from our first lady in the house up to the present profs in the academy. Though 7 days to the exam may seem very short period of time, but it can make a massive difference between getting a numbers in the 40s and also getting a numbers in 50s, which is ultimately a 50% mark qualifies us as what? A pass student in the Ican examination. It is not to be convinced, but I'm so much confident that if you follow the guideline that has been given to us, in which I've also highlighted some of it in my summarized section here below, you've got a really good chance of pushing yourself into the above 50, at least. That is, in the worst scenario, you're going to push yourself into the 50s. Effective study is not about a long consecutive hours, as we've heard from our instructors, and it is about a sustainable and consistent volume, a well-planned, realistic, with sufficient reward, breaks, and incentives that is being built in. One of what was discussed with us is to strategize like a pro. How can you strategize like a pro? From what they said you are in a short period of time, no problem. Your goal shouldn't be just to focus on what cannot be changed, which is the time. Instead, you should devote your energies to formulating an effective study plan that is backed by a befitting strategy, by identifying your area of strength and weaknesses. For instance, you have just 7 days until the Ican exam day. Allow yourself a good 30 minutes and think about everything you must do in that time that you have. You have to deliver with your devoted time for this Ican, especially at this 9 minutes hour. Attempting questions from the past paper is what the majority has preached for us today, and soaking up as much knowledge as possible. Likewise, it was discussed that we should practice as many past papers as we can. While your lecture notes are definitely important, going through them at this pandemic time may be crunchy, may be intimidating. If you are in a similar situation like mine, that I don't like going through some intimidating notes at this period, devote as much time as you can to practicing your past Ican paper. If a no-brainer that the question you attempt won't come, it is a no-brainer that the question you attempt won't come in the actual exam, but this will provide you with the idea of what to expect. Certain questions, although may not be identical, as we have been informed, we follow the similar patterns, although, and if you strategize accordingly, your Ican exam will seem much easier than you could even imagine. Sincerely, we are told not to make an extensive note. But what? Do what we call a jotting. They said this is because do what we call a jotting. And we are also told that we should let exercise take up our time. Don't let only study eat up your time. say you should focus on the material, especially your lecture note, and jot things down when absolutely is necessary. Don't copy chapter summaries onto your notebook. Simply write points or try to memorize the content otherwise, just as informed by what Mr. Adebimpe. Likewise, we are told from the first speaker up to my last professor that we should leverage on the video tutorial. And that is one of the benefits of sitting Ican exam in this 21st century. You learn the variety by using our online videos, even at the comfort of your zone. And the great things about our video tutorial is that you can cram a lot of important information into what? A small, interesting piece of useful information, and not cramming your notes. And this will actually in turn help you to save time and might even help you to mind mapping your understanding concept. Many of our videos actually features a virtual instructor that solves direct questions while explaining their methodology. That is why if you look at our video, we will tell you that this is how to do it. So we say, but sir, what if I did like this? Yes, you can, but follow this strategy. If you look at what our second speaker, Mr. Yanda, discussed with us, he said, even though the question has come like this, understand the term is the key driving force. These are not just for saying sake. Everything was practiced during the course of our lecture, and we inculcate that in you. If you are with us right from day one. And this will really enable you to get a better idea of the concept that is involved regarding a particular topic. Moreover, visual aid has been known to boost memory, which will help you to ace your Ican exam. Thank God that most of the topic that is even being proposed by our instructor, when asked that what are the focus area, especially in one of the voluminous course, PM, and that of the SFM, most of what he even gave as what I can even love setting are the major areas that have been covered by the instructor. And they use a live scenario question, even use some past questions to teach us during the class. Having said that, we said you should hone your answering skills. Aside from that, one of our instructors discussed with us that we should actively link your study to your job. That is when he said we should use our generic knowledge. And we could also remember that we said always link your knowledge. And thank God, one of our speakers also said, when you are doing a particular course, endeavor you link your knowledge. You are doing SFM, you will be seeing CR in SFM. You are doing case study, oh my God, you will see CR, you will see SFM, you will see PM. You even be seeing CSME. What do we need to do? You link your knowledge. And my speaker called it use of generic knowledge. In the exam, one of my first speakers said that in the exam, what should we do? Just go to the exam without being panicked and don't get stuck. We call it focus on your performance. And my dear professional, to cap it all, being short on time is never ideal. However, it doesn't mean you cannot pass your Ican exam with flying color. I've never read, oh, I've been stuck. My brain cannot contain it. My work has been sucking. I do not have any time. My baby is disturbing me. My husband not allow me. In fact, my wife always cook for me, want to spoil me with food. My this thing didn't do this, didn't do that. My dear, with this little time that you have, you can pass your Ican exam in a flying color. At this point, you should be doing everything you can to minimize the chances of failure. In any case, do not panic, just as said and preach. And your composure is just as important as a strategy. And as long as both are on the track, you will ace your Ican exam papers for sure. It may sound simple in theory, but put it into practice. My last speaker said it should be one of the exceptions. Yes, be one of the exceptions. Now, I'm beyond doubt. We're convinced. And I'm confirming to you that now go and make that exam. I, Oriyomi Kasali, and every other members, we believe in you. Do you believe in yourself? If the answer is yes, go get it. Thank you, everybody. We are open for question and answer before we eventually round up this section. For those that are just joining, okay, don't worry. Maybe you're going to get the video. The types of calculator, just any scientific calculator. Numbers of the person for the registration, just chat up. Otito juice number, it will be sent to all the platform. Okay, don't worry, everybody. Are we having any question and answer? If the answer is no, I shall in turn be coasting home gradually. Mr. Ayokunle, you have the floor, sir.
When are we having case study today?
Sir, we will discuss that on the group.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Ayokunle is one of the leading course rep in our academy. And I will not fail to say it that he won my recharge card last time, even though he will still pay me back. He didn't win it as a result of known individual. He won it by answering one of the brilliant questions that one is not really expecting. Yes, that is us. Our learning with us has been fun. We have a fun-filled learning, a fun-filled interaction between the instructor and the participants, otherwise known as professional colleagues. We do not have students here in our academy. We have professional colleagues, and we treat you as such because you are very much important and an important asset to us. Without you, we are nothing. It is you that we have that make us to give best and even do more in our deliverables. So everybody, if there's no question, may I have
there's a hand here.
Okay, there's a hand there. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, sir. You have floor.
The number of Fumilayo, the head of Students Affairs, please.
Okay, yes. I will send it to the platform. Okay. Thank you, sir. Just chat up the admin. The admin will send it to us. Is it Mr. Achille or Madam Achille? Okay, you are not asking for Madam Fumilayo, she told you. Right?
Yes.
All right,
it's a man talking. Maybe my voice sounds like that of a woman.
No, you didn't sound like a woman. You can never be like them. They have that tiny voice. Don't forget, I always say that. Okay. Mr. or Madam Bukola, you have the floor. Unmute yourself and talk to me. Madam Bukola. Madam Bukola, talk to me. Madam Bukola, are you in the inner room? Hello, ma. Is it Mr. Bukola, Madam Bukola? Who is also raising hand? Unmute yourself and talk to me. Mr. Ayokunle, lower your hand now. Abba.
Good afternoon, sir.
Abba. Okay, good afternoon, ma.
Please, sir, I have a question.
Please go ahead, ma.
Okay, sir, about performance management.
Okay, our PM.
Yes, the only thing I've been able to do on PM is just the lecture notes, then the soft copies, the slides we do have about each topics and our weekly assessments. I've not really been able to do past questions, aside from the past questions that are in the slides that are sent to us. I really hope that is enough.
Is that enough to escape us through Ican success?
Yes.
If I answer the question, I might be impartial. Okay, I may be impartial. Let me call on my professional, my prof, to also answer that question to avoid what we called what do we call it? Conflict of interest. Okay, Mr. Yandao, Mr. Glafis, can you please answer that question? Hello, Mr. Abdulhafiz, are you there? Hello, Mr. Ayanda, are you there? Chai, where
Yes,
are my
I'm there.
boss? All right, a question has just been put forth. I hope you heard the question, or I need to recap.
Yes, I get the question. All
right,
okay,
sir.
let me come again.
Is that enough to pass the
Now,
Ican
the question
exam?
Yes, honestly, I'll say that is enough. Because every question, some of them are similar. And what we need to do is that, okay, let's say, for example, now, the question was asked on PM. Let me use maybe transfer pricing, for example, now. Let's say the question that we solve in class now, maybe A is trying to transfer to B. And what you just need to know there is that, okay, let's say, for example, now, we're able to solve question on when we are transferring our using marginal cost.
Marginal.
Okay. So maybe we transfer now using marginal costing to division B. Another one, maybe we also if we solve another question now using transfer pricing at maybe at total cost now to another division. So once you're able to know that, okay, these are all the method that you can transfer from one division to another. Then the next thing that we need to do now is, okay, out of all this method now, even though once you're able to know that, okay, at least we solve a question now on transferring from using marginal costing. That will cover every other question that you're going to come across under transferring from using marginal costing. So the things that we just need to do is that, okay, the one that we solve in class, have we covered the type of method? Let's say, for example, now, at least I take foundation, I take MI using under inventory. That we can use FIFO and we can also use BIFO. And the question that I saw for them on on inventory valuation is just one on FIFO and one on So, but I know that everything that's supposed to talk about in using FIFO, that particular question has covered. So if you have any other question as well, maybe you check the pack now, and the examiner also asks you to use FIFO now or to use any other method. The one that we have talked about in class now has also covered because it's still the same method. So what we just need to do is once the method is covered, even though it is maybe one or two questions, once the principle we know the principle, it will also cover other things that other method that we can also come across. Oh, it is now when the method is not being solved, and that's now when we can be a little bit panicked. But once the method is solved, we solve one question on FIFO, that will eventually cover other methods. If the examiner is also requesting for, I want you to use this particular method to solve this question. And
thank you so much, sir.
Make sure that all the method, at least every one of us, we are used to the way the examiner also request for their questions. They have know that, okay, these are the method. And at least for PM, there's not any lecturer that is a very important course that will be leaving for you to go alone without covering the board. Right? So I can guarantee you that. No, it's not.
All right. Thank you so much for that beautiful response. At least we've had this thing. That is actually like we've always been told in the class, that with the lecture notes and with the practice questions that all our instructor actually have with us during the course of the lecture is more than enough for us to pass our Ican exam. And like I always tell us, that the only panic that I have is you not practicing the question. And we could have from all the discussion for today, let us just try as much as possible to practice what you have at hand, even before you are looking forward. That's that. Any other question while I'm coasting home gradually? All right, so meet yourself and talk.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Please.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, ma.
My question is, how long does it take the result to come out after exam?
we should be expecting results come July.
Okay.
Yes, apparently 2nd week of July. Delay comes 3rd week of July, we have it. I don't want to give a specific date to that. Yes, somebody said there's always a video lecture. They've not been having the audio lecture. The audio lecture is also part of the drive that was sent to us. I think I was in a class the last time, if I remember vividly, it is a PM class, where the admin was even telling us that check your Google Drive. We have audio, video, material. Everything is there. So please, if you are still not getting it, just drop a message on the platform. But everything has been sent to us. Just check your email address. From the email address, you will get it there. The audio is there. Our video is also there. Madam Olubumi, you have the floor, ma. Talk to me.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm just writing. This is my first time of writing Ican, and I'm just writing foundation, MI in foundation. So I see myself crossing over to skills level. So I want to ask, this personally for me, I don't want to write all the papers in skills level. I probably want to write 2 or 3. What would you advise? What subjects can I combine together to make it easy for me, to pass at once? There are some courses that are probably related. I want to do like 3 at once, and maybe the other time, maybe the exact. That's just my own personal question. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I would call on my boss to answer the question once again. Okay, because yeah, I have my reservation, but that's the question. You will still ask it again. I promise you. By the time we are having our next diet sensitization, which always come before the beginning of another diet, because then your decision will change when you see the testimony. Mr. Abdulhafiz and Mr. Inyada, can you please provide a response to that? Where's Madam ID? Where did he go?
Hello.
Hello. All right, sir.
Okay. The question to Mrs. Olubuko in terms of what?
Combination at the skills level.
Yes.
I want to write just 2 papers.
Okay. And you have what? You have 5. You have 6 papers to write at what? At least coming from the foundation, you're going to write what? You're going to write 6. Okay. Let's say, for example, now you want to what? You don't want to go for all the 6 at one. Now, and to me, because this is like, let me just say personally now. First of all, what you can do is you can approach the subject that are a little bit more easy than the others. Because let's be honest with ourselves, there are some subjects that are more easy than others. Like for example, now I'll consider FR to be more easy. That is taking financial reporting first. Then you cannot be doing what? You cannot be doing the performance management. Because honestly, financial reporting is still a little bit, at least to me, I consider it one of the easiest subjects that you can pass at skills level. Because why did I say that it is a little bit easy for you to pass? Is that areas that the examiner always tested in this courses is known to every one of us. In terms of there's no now. If you check any diet, maybe some of us that are writing skills you're writing FR, there's no any time that the examiner will not test the question on group account. There's no any time that the examiner will not test you or will not ask you question on ratio analysis, how you interpret financial statement. There's no any time they will not ask you question on regulation and conceptual framework. So once you know that, this one is coming, then it's what we just need to do now is just for us to prepare for it very well. That I know that they are going to test me question on this. So I'll consider you at least attempting FR. Then another subject that you can also attempt is I'll say you can go for you can go for audit as well. As the number 1 paper that you can also write. Because audit as well, audit is also a little bit easy to pass in terms of areas that the examiner always tested in what in audit as well is known to every one of us. In terms of what, if you check the past question, there's no any time that the examiner would not ask a question on what is internal control, what are audit evidence, what are internal audit, what are the concept, the professional ethics, and what they're trying to or the fundamental principle. So area that what the examiner always tested in audit and assurance as well is known. You know it already. There's no any time you check the Pathfinder, you're always going to see question from audit evidence. And the syllabus is not really that the syllabus is not really that much. So you can also go for you can also go for audit as well. Consider it that, it is a little bit, the syllabus is not really that wide. Then at least the key area of the syllabus is well known to every one of us that, these are the area that the examiner will bring question. And what you just need to do is, let's try as much as possible to understand it very well. Just like to the professional student now, you all know that your number one is going to be on group account. Okay? So every one of us know that, my number one now, as you're going for this exam on Tuesday 10 now, you know that, your number one question is to be group account. So what we just need to do now, once I know that it is this group, then the next thing I have to do is let's try as much as possible. All the different aspects of group account, you should be able to understand it. But if they give you number one now as group, it is not new to you. If you are going for FR, if they give you cash flow or publish account, it is not new to you. Because you yourself, you know that, these are key aspects of the syllabus. So financial reporting, audit and award and assurance, and you can also go for taxation as well. So if it is if it is 3, if it is 3 like that, I will still consider taxation. That is financial reporting, audit and taxation. And taxation too is not really that is a principle, and once you understand the principle, it's not really giving it's not really giving problem. So what you cannot do, at least maybe in November, you write the 3, I pray by God's grace, in the next coming diet, can approach the remaining 3, which is public sector. You know that one is is theory. You just need to see that very well and read it. So you just know that the main courses now that are a little bit challenging may be performance management and CSME. And CSME also is not really challenging, only that one is also is much a little bit. But if you're able to do the one that are very simple course, then the motivation will come that we should be able to go for we should be able to go for the higher one. So to me personally, at least if Mr. Apis can also contribute to that, I would advise you can go for, if it is 3, financial reporting, audit and taxation, while in the next coming diet, you can face your performance management, the public sector, and the CSM. And I pray by God's grace, every one of us is going to succeed by God. So thank you, sir. Mr. Ayoma.
Amen. Thank you so much for that wonderful opinion. Actually, I love the selection. And the selection, by virtue of everything, has really been good. Yeah. But sir, I don't like it as I didn't put the PM first. But man, don't mind me. It is good. That is the best way to approach it. You see, I said by the next diet, you'll be changing your opinion, because writing 2, you can do 3. Writing the 2, you can do 3. So I just be having at least, at worst, 3 in mind. And I promise you that with us, you have nothing to fear. And God will grant that massive success to everyone. Okay, am I still having any hand up?
Mr. Yomat,
Mr. Ajodo. Oh yeah,
sorry,
Mr. Ajodo.
I like the person that asked this question. I'm having similar issues with audit and assurance. I don't really pay much attention to read audit and assurance throughout these studies. So I still have a lot of uncovered lectures that I have not gone through it. So I just want to ask if, just as the speaker said, that the likely areas that are bound to, or that are sure to be area of concentration, if you can show more light on it, I would be grateful.
For the AAA, right?
Yes.
You see that AAA? Let me call on just the last speaker. He's going to tell us the chapters to focus on. I think that will benefit everyone as well. And I think we also be doing revision on that on the platform. But because if we start to analyze them now, we sleep here and wake up tomorrow. Mr. Yada, can you please answer that question very quickly? I don't want to be sentimental.
Okay, for audit and assurance, this is the audit. So let me share what. Let me share my. Mr. Yama, let me share my screen a little bit.
All right, sir. Where do that?
All right, now you can. Every one of us can see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now so now let me show you something. Look at this. Okay. Look at B. You have internal control. Look at the next diet. You also have what? Internal control. Look at the next diet as well. You also have what? Internal control. Look at the next diet as well. You also have what? Internal control. So you can see now that in every diet, question will always come from what? From internal control. Look at it as well. Look at the next one. So meaning that this trend that you're looking at now is that, okay, oh, November 2017 now, question 3 was on what? Was on internal control. That's what it means. So now, you can see now that in audit, you yourself, you know, look at this now. This is audit evidence. There's no any time that you're not going to see question on what? On audit evidence. Look at this as well. This is also a question on what? On audit evidence. So your chapter 1 to 7 of your study text, I think that is the word that if you focus on that very well, you should be able to pass. Your chapter 2 of your study text, which is what? Regulation and professional ethics, is a section of the syllabus itself. So you at least if you understand what, at least maybe after the class, I'll send this to admin, we share it on other platform with you as well. If you understand your word, your chapter 1 to 7 very well in audit, there's no how you are going to pass. There's not, because majority of the question is between 1 to 7. If you know your internal control very well, your internal audit, your audit evidence, your professional ethics, what are fundamental principles, what are trying to fundamental principles. That question. You understand? Once you what, just let me, so that we're able to save our time. Just 1 to 7 is what is okay. Check your word, your this thing, the study text, everything that is here. If you look at it in this minute, everything in this 7 question now, it is between chapter 1 to 7. Every word, the question that is here now, in each of these diet now, fraud and error. This one is in chapter 2. This one is in chapter 4. This is chapter 2. This is, so every question that is here now is between chapter 1 to 7. And you can see now that every diet, there are some that you can even see that, oh, it will come out. This is what? Internal control. Another diet, you also see question on internal control. You see question on what? On audit evidence. So looking at this trend now, you can also identify that, oh, these are the areas that are very, very well that the examiner need to key to. And just like Mr. Afi said, you know, this is a very well, you have a short time now. So there are some things that you really need to know very well. And these are, you have to know audit evidence, read your chapter 2 very well, your internal control. Don't worry, I'll send this trend to you, every one of us to see it as well. So Mr. Yoma, you can continue, don't worry, so that we don't waste our time. Hello, Mr. Yoma.
God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for that. Right. I've been expecting what is coming up now, because I know that this will actually lead to many questions from my audience. I really love you all. My people don't carry lags, and they would like to actually get what they want. People have been asking for the SFM, for the PM, for the FR, for the whatsoever. But do we really know that we have this for FR and you have this for PM already? You don't know. That is because you have not been checking your platform. Okay. So thank you so much for that, Mr. Nyanda. Any other question while I'm posting them gradually? This is our basic period for time. This is our time for question and answer. Please, once again, if you need to reach out to us, we are very much alive and available through is 081-8599-3275. And you can easily contact us through our email, which is contact@icanonlinetutors.com. Contact us through contact@icanonlinetutors.com. Not tutor, tutors.com.ng. That com have ng at the end of it. Okay, I know. Is there anybody still raising? And thank God all hands are now on decks. You haven't answered concerning SFM. Yes, PM. Yeah, everything. Just check your platform. It will be sent there. Okay, you already have everything. That's why I said it will be sent to the platform. All right. Is somebody talking to me? Any other question? Oh my God. Let me use this medium while I'm waiting for further question. Let me use this medium to thank and appreciate every one of us through the WhatsApp. Just chat up with the admin. You will send it to us. Please chat up with the admin. Yes, WhatsApp, our WhatsApp platform. Yes, let's use this medium to appreciate every one of us. We thank you. We appreciate you for the audience, for your time, for staying with us from the beginning up to the end of the discussion. I'm so much convinced that we have been able to achieve one or two things from the discussion today. And I'm also so much convinced that we're going to implement those success tips that has been shared with us. We all know we cannot discuss it all. In fact, suppose I've not written Ican before, or I don't even know anything about Ican. From what I heard today, I'm motivated. Sincerely speaking, there's one of them that actually make my eye to sweat. Because when you really hear from the way they present, you will see that you have no excuse not to write the diet or for failure. You have no excuse to the failure. Yes, it's WhatsApp. That's why I said, from all what we have had today, the take-home word is be one of the exceptions. Now, go nail that exam. We believe in you. Dear participants, my dear professional colleagues, my bosses in the house, I really appreciate your time. Sincerely speaking, I appreciate every one of you, ranging from the head of the house, Mr. Ridwan. May Almighty God uphold you and bless you with your families. Thank you so much for this great platform. Thank you so much, Mr. Inyada, for that wonderful presentation and for staying with us from A to Z. Thank you so much, Madam ID, for the wonderful presentation. We really appreciate and value you more. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulhafiz Adebimpe. I cannot trade you for anything in this world. I love you so much. Mr. Patrick Ako, sincerely speaking, I love you, but you are owing me a bottle of Coke when you come to Lagos. You are owing me a bottle of Coke, and I'm going to collect it. It's a bottle of Coke that I want to, because that is I'm not promoting Coke. It's one of my best beverages. Likewise, I really appreciate all my audience. Mr. Abdugani and others, I recognize and appreciate your presence. Likewise, some of our instructors has joined, and some of them were having network challenges. I've seen Mr. Success join and also disappeared. I've also seen a lot of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate every one of you. Thank you for honoring our invitation. And to all the participants, both current and our respective and prospective participants, you know, I can't joke with you all, sincerely speaking. I love you. Thank you once again for making this section a great success. Without you, who will be? Who will be us? Who will they? We not be anything. It is only you that are standing with us. Please, don't let this end there. Share the gospel with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your other colleagues. Let them benefit from the wealth of knowledge that Ican Online have. If there's a need to be, it is up to you. We will always support you, both during your academic period and post your academic period. Let us still continue to be that one big family, even after you are being chartered. We want to still have you. Let us still do something together. There's a lot we can achieve together. Do we get that? Mr. Sampson, while I'm closing, you are raising your hand. Oh yeah, unmute yourself and talk. Yes, boss.
No, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, I just want to ask because I actually missed the orientation. Is there a provision for kind of video to follow it up?
Definitely. We share it on the YouTube. We share it across our platform, including, did I put our social media? Please just search your social media for Ican Online. We are there everywhere. We there inside Facebook. We there inside Twitter. We there for online, www.internet. We there. We there for space. We there. Where we there? I did inside my house. We did there. Inside your heart. We did there. Inside everywhere. We did there. Just search Ican Online. You go find us everywhere. If you don't find us, who else will you find? We did there. And you will get the link through that. For further information, for further assistance, for further requests, do not forget to drop a message for the admin or drop it in any of our platforms. You can also drop any request, information, or a prospective thing on any of our social media or social handles. We got you covered and we respond on time. Once again, the admin number is 081-8599-3275. Let me go to one of my motherland language. If you said it, Odo 81, sorry. In that Yoruba land, I no flourish here because I don't even understand that language. Let me go to my hometown. Odo is Uku, 0 is Uku, 8 is Untwa, 1 is Aqua, 8 is Umbo, 5 is Una, 9 is Untwa, 9 is Aqua. Mr. Patrick not teach me Igbo, so I know that is where I understand it better. Everybody, thank you so much for making it a time with us. Thank you. Enjoy.